You stay on hard.
Take two. Welcome back to BCSN SportsWrap. I don't know why I didn't just automatically turn my mic on, but anyway, there's a nice little notification that told me. Welcome to the BCSN SportsWrap, live here on the Black College Sports Network. AD and Bryan here. 9 years running, longest HBCU sports talk show on the interwebs, and so it's good to be on with you, brother. How are you doing? And you don't look like you're in your home office. Beautiful painting there behind you. Where is A.D. Drew on the minds of everyone? I'm sure that will be tuning in today.
Washington, D.C.
D.C., the Mecca.
Yeah, the Mecca. That way,
Chocolate City.
We're gonna take down the Mecca tomorrow, but we're in Chocolate City today.
Did you guys play? Morehouse is who he's talking about, for those of you who may not be familiar. Did you guys play them last year in D.C., and is it always in D.C.?
Yes.
Why don't they ever come down to Morehouse? Is there a reason for that, or is it just?
That's beyond my pay grade, Doc.
Okay. All right. I mean, I guess celebrating MLK Day weekend in D.C. versus in Atlanta. I'm just saying, I mean, it is what it is. Okay, I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm just curious.
My pay grade.
Is nobody okay? So hold on. Is this an annual thing? Because obviously I'm learning about Morehouse athletics via you. So is this an annual contest?
It has been. It's they've run the last couple of years. You remember actually Howard, we started, remember when they played Duke and they played somebody else. So after those contracts, they started playing Morehouse. And this is a renewed rivalry between the two.
Right. Emmett said Martin Luther King and the March on Washington, hard to beat. Martin Luther King in Atlanta, Georgia. Hard to beat. I mean, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is.
The brother got a point both ways, man.
Yeah. Let me take a quick second here. Obviously, this is the weekend, Martin Luther King weekend, his day that we nationally observe is Monday. His actual birthday was January 15th. On Thursday, also happens to be a Founders Day for a particular sorority. Shout out to my mom's sorority. But anyway, Drew, I took a point Thursday and Friday in my U.S. history class to start my classes, my middle school class, right? I teach 8th graders U.S. history. To take a moment of reflection dedicated towards MLK, because I heard a couple kids asking, we have Monday off, and they were like, they saw on the board, I had a note. I had a note on the board that said, today is Martin Luther King's birthday, 1929. And a couple kids were like, oh yeah, we get Monday off. Isn't that the day he died? And I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy. I'm like, okay. See this? And this is exactly This is exactly why I put this up there, because, kids, they don't know, so you got to educate them, right? That's what we're supposed to do. So I took a moment to explain.
Go ahead. Say what you was gonna say.
I took a point to explain, no, he did not die on January. And they were like, well, why is it the 19th? And I was like, well, it's technically about the second, I think it's the second Monday of the
The
year.
third. It's the third Monday.
Third Monday of the year. Okay, third Monday of the year.
Yes.
See, I was even wrong on that. I knew it was, but I said his actual birth date being the 15th, you know, it's close enough. And then I said, well, no one wants to take the day off in the middle of the week because then you got to come back to school the next day. And oh, yeah, you know, that's a little joke that I threw in there. Because I said, otherwise, we wouldn't have a 4-day weekend. But anyway, so I took Thursday to give them a reflective. I took Thursday to give them a reflective devotion based on his appearance on Meet the Press back in 1960, right? Then I told the kids, which blew their mind. They were like, yeah, this Meet the Press show is still running at 11 o'clock Eastern. Maybe your parents watch it. And they just looked at me like stargaze, like, what? This show is still on the air? So anyway, but the message was all about the great, and if you don't know about that speech or that appearance, he talked about one of the greatest injustices is that the most, he stated something about the most segregated time in America, and especially Christian America, is 11 o'clock on Sundays. He said, and he talked about how Christians needed to be supportive of integration, right? And how, you know, Jesus and Christ and God, his promises that we were all the same in his eyes and that we were all afforded the same blessings, et cetera, et cetera. So that kind of got him going. And then on Friday, of course, you know, Drew, then I had to play the I Have a Dream speech. Now, this was the abridged version because it was only the 6-minute version, which hit the main points, right? I think there was some, I think the speech was a little longer than 6 minutes, but, you know, these kids, getting them to sit through 6 minutes was pretty good on my part, because after that, I showed another video and they were speaking through that video. So I did my part as a U.S. history teacher to try to educate and enlighten a few kids. So, but I would encourage everybody using their social media platforms or whatever platform you have, make the attempt to retweet, recast, share something related towards Martin Luther King and what he stood for, what he was about, maybe a lesson that you learned or something reflective that helped you in your life. I know we have a lot of things going on in the world today, but I still think we can find relevance in Dr. King's messaging that somebody needs to hear. Don't assume everybody knows, because everybody doesn't know.
Can I expand on that?
Please.
When I was working at my previous institution, a non-HBCU, you know, we would have biweekly staff meetings, and this particular meeting happened to be after the King holiday, and I went in and I had to let the Europeans. Now, in that meeting, I was one of, because it's the administration and the head coaches. I was one of 3 African Americans in the entire meeting, out of about maybe 20 people, 15, 20 people. All right. And you know, they do that, you know, you do your one around, everybody uh give you a report and everything like that. Told him I had a bone to pick with him. In so many words, I said that. It's like, can y'all explain to me why we had practices on King Day, especially for teams that aren't in season? Now, basketball, I understand basketball, they're in season. Especially now, they did not have a game coming up. And the ironic thing was, basketball did not practice on that day. Maybe because a majority of the basketball team was African American. Obviously, um, non-HBCU, most of your African American athletes were either on the basketball teams, men or women, or the football team. So
Mhm.
those coaches knew better. But I was like, why is soccer, who just finished their season, having workouts on King Day?
Right. Right.
Softball doesn't open up for another 3 weeks, which they gave them the day off. I can't remember if baseball, but there were a couple sports that actually did who were out of season, and I was like, and it's not, and I was like, y'all think I'm coming in sounding like I'm pro black and pro militant, but it's not about that.
Shouldn't be about that, right?
I was like, it's the fact of what the date said for. I was like, but I did get a little black on it. I was like, damn, we only got 2 holidays because this was right after they had just made Juneteenth a national holiday. So this was the right after that. I was like, as an African American, I only get 2 holidays, and y'all want to take one of them from me?
So
I was
glad I
like,
don't have
but
to explain that during school.
I was like, but it's not just about that. I'm like Yom Kippur and all the other ethnic holidays. We need to make sure uh that we are doing these things and we are sensitive to the people that we have here that we serve.
True.
So and of course I got the most famous line that you always get.
Uh-oh.
I have black friends.
Well, look,
You know,
that's saying
you know,
something that they have black friends.
yeah. But it was a debate, and actually, and I'll say this, because of my stance, they actually came up with a policy on that, whereas basically, if you were not in season, you not only just Cake Day, but certain ethnic holidays, Jewish
Yeah,
holidays, Hispanic holidays, et cetera. If unless you were in season, and if you were in season, uh, it had to be like right before a competition. Like
right.
if you play if holidays on Monday, you got a competition Tuesday or Wednesday. If you're not playing to that Friday or Saturday on a Monday holiday, that's your designated off day. And if you're doing a team activity, it must be community service related.
Well,
So
if you would have never spoke up, change would have never happened. And so uh that's a powerful movement. I used to practice on that Monday, the Monday of King Day. I used to have practices, and I'll never forget. I remember having a parent, one of the a black parent, one of the few black kids I had on one of my school teams, asked me why we were practicing on King Day. And my immediate question or answer was, well, we have a game on Tuesday, which we do or did. And since we don't practice on Sunday, and I didn't practice on Saturday, in my head, my thought was, well, I
just get
can't
in
let
early on Monday.
I can't let my kids have 3 days off. God forbid I give them 3 days off, as if that was going to somehow make them better on that Tuesday. Right? I've since learned better that that ain't no magical fairy dust is gonna make them better in one practice. I would rather them take the day, and maybe, just maybe, they might catch some messaging regarding MLK. If not, that's on them, right? Or, like you said, it would have been nice if maybe we did some community service activity or whatever, but I wanted my day off too. And then I used to have the whole phrase of, well, I used to work on King Day. And I always used to rationalize it. Well, look, Martin Luther King would have wanted us to have jobs and wanted us to work. So I'm working on King Day and honoring Martin Luther King Jr.
No,
I
no.
don't even know. I don't know. Those are all things I
Did you
rationalize.
did you buy that when that was coming out your mouth?
You know what? Actually, to be honest, I think my father might have planted that seed in my head about working, and it's like, why are you taking it off? I was like, it was like, if you're not taking it off to go do something and volunteer somewhere, then you might as well go to work. And he had a great point.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I was like, well, you're right. I'm not going to go volunteer anywhere. So yes, I probably should go to work.
Unless it's a paid day off.
Which it wasn't. So,
okay.
At this particular time, because I was an hourly employee back in the day in my early, when I became a salaried employee, though, I was taking that off. I was like,
right.
Look, we the salaried employees, we ain't got to show up on, we get that day off. So, but anyway,
don't get into college athletics because days off are few and far between.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
yeah. Well, you know how I'm spending my King Day, so.
And then yes, and then so look, and then that brings the question:
entertaining people.
But thank you. We're playing games on King Day, so what's the difference between playing games versus practicing? It's just anyway. It's crazy. Hello to everybody joining us, coming in. Let him blow. A few other folks. Edwin Moore jumping in. Sounded like I went to. Look, Edwin. I almost went to the University of Indiana. That was my in-state choice because I wasn't smart enough to get into Notre Dame, to be honest. You had to have a different level GPA to get into Notre Dame back then, and I wasn't an athlete, so I wasn't getting into Notre Dame. I could get into Indiana and I could get into Ball State, and my out-of-state choice was Florida A&M, and so I chose wisely. I took the out-of-state route. So Lennon Blow says the Morehouse Howard game should rotate. I agree, Lennon. It should. But we're not going to put Drew on the spot to try to answer or resolve that tonight. But
please and thank you.
I appreciate you putting that thought out there. Exactly. Did you see WSSU Ram Nation? His dream for this King weekend. He has a dream that the Lady Rams, who are 15-1, winners of 15 in a row, will win the CIAA. Man.
Not a bad dream.
No, not a bad dream at all.
Not a bad dream at all.
Yeah, not a bad dream at all. Blue Jacket says, well, first off, Blue Jacket again, for those of you who are new to the show, I grew up a Hoosier kid. I grew up in the state of Indiana. This is something that never, ever, 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 I can't even say how many evers that I ever think would be possible in the sport of college football that the school in Bloomington, Indiana would have a shot at winning a national title against the University of Miami. This is unfathomable that tomorrow is actually happening. So I want to see IU win a natty. That's it. If my Notre Dame Irish can be in there and, my Rattlers can't win a Black College National Championship or any other kind of championship this season, I got to go with my hometown team. So there it is. That's why I'm wearing the hat. My one time that I support IU football. Yeah, so but stop it, Lawrence. Lawrence has a shot to win the FC. Too much. Coming up on the show today in hour 2, Charles Edmond of Alcorn State Sports Radio, Sports Network is going to be joining us. I just want to give you guys an update. If you missed the Carlos Brown show yesterday, I want to let you guys know Carlos Brown. Well, yes, if you missed it, you didn't miss anything. Carlos is doing well. Everybody on the panel is well. And I'll just leave it at that. But there was no show. Carlos, I believe, and the rest of the panel will hopefully be back on next Saturday. So there you go. So thoughts. We keep Carlos in your thoughts and prayers. And we'll have Charles Edmond on later, so we'll kind of catch up a little bit on maybe some things that they were going to talk about there. But no, Zach said Butler. I don't know what they're talking about out there, Zach. I mean, you being in it, running things in FCS football, I was waiting on you to come in and tell us what's going on, because that, an HBCU would have a better shot than Butler at winning a FCS national title, and we know we don't even have a shot because we're not playing in it. So there you go. Man, I came across, I was looking, I see a couple of coaching hires were made official. We'll get into talking about that. But we're going to start the show off.
Point of personal privilege. No, I don't know. And no, I don't know when. Except that it's coming.
If you know, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, and we will have Charles come on. Well, look, Israel, thanks for coming on the show. Look, Charles was there. He called the game. I don't even think he knows what happened there at the end of the game. We'll talk about it. I saw.
Do we have the
video? The clip was actually posted by HBCU Sports, so I will run to Twitter and download it so that when Charles comes on, we can play it. But if you follow HBCU Sports on Twitter, that's where you can find the clip that is being referenced at the end of the game. A win for Alcorn may have been snatched from them. We'll debate that coming up later.
Hold on, I gotta say this.
See, don't go down the wood. Stop. No.
I'm just gonna say this.
This is for Clark. This is Clark. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you go down this road, we're gonna start talking about football hires. I thought we were gonna say
I'm just gonna put this one out there. We keep going on with the script, or the lack thereof. I have no clue as to who was on Clark's list, because we're both looking. We both probably had and have some of the same people on our list, but there was no way in hell I was going to be privy to that information. I'll leave that there.
Okay. Coach Green.
Wait till you see these new rankings, Coach.
Yeah, wait till you see these new rankings. Here's one. Lennon Blow asked the question, Drew, real quick, if you want to give down some of your outside of FAMU. Who else were some HBCUs that you considered? Drew, you want to give the short list real quick?
Actually, I was going to Tennessee State.
Okay.
I think I've told this story before. Until the first Atlanta Football Classic was held in 1989, and I went as a Tennessee State fan because that's where I wanted to go to school, close enough to be able to come home, but far enough where my mama couldn't come see me without at least letting me know. So Tennessee State about 4.5 hours from St. Louis. And this is back when you had the registration cards, everybody. You didn't fill out everything online back then. Filled out the registration card for FAMU and all that stuff. And then a month or two later, I got information in the mail and send your transcript, your ACT scores and SAT scores, and FAMU came through with an offer more than Tennessee State came through with an offer. So the pendulum swung. Another one that I had looked at, HBCUs only. Of course, I had to look at Lincoln of Missouri, since I am from Missouri. Harris-Stowe was not an option for me right there in my hometown. Mainly because they really didn't have a good program in the major that I wanted to major in, which was business at that point in time. No knock against Harris-Stowe. And that's what I was doing. I was looking for a good business school because that's what I knew I wanted to major in. Tennessee State had a good business school at that point in time. There was some non-HBCUs that I was looking at, but that was pretty much it on the HBCU level. And when it was all said and done, of the 3 HBCUs I strongly considered, I got into the one that I wanted to go to at that point in time, in spring of 1990 when I made that decision. I just told my age, man.
Yeah, you got to be careful about that. I only applied to 3 schools, and I have told you who the 3 were. 2 in-state, 1 out-of-state. But I did go on a fascinating junior year spring break college tour sponsored by the Indianapolis grad chapter of Delta Sigma Theta. My mom's best friend, she was a Delta. They got me on this bus trip. One of the schools on the trip was Florida A&M. So that's kind of why my mom got me on that trip. What I didn't know about this trip, Drew, was that of the 50 students that were going to go, 41 girls were on this trip.
and you, man.
That's my face of like, yo, I just got on a bus going around the country with 41 girls. So 41 beautiful young women, right?
So you're on the bus with about a 4-to-1 ratio.
4-to-1 ratio.
And then you wind up at a school which during our time was anywhere from a 12 to 14-to-1 ratio.
Right. You get it, right? Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I just want to make sure that everybody understands.
I want everybody to hear that. Everybody understand where Bryan was not worried about academics. He should have been. Bryan wasn't concerned about the band. He should have been. Bryan wasn't even concerned about getting into a business school. He wasn't. He didn't. Bryan had a broadcast journalism mind, but he was distracted. I stayed distracted in high school and college. Thank God for being smart on just GP. But so we took the trip. We went through the Ohio schools, man, to the Wilberforce and Central State. Oh, great. Then we went to North Carolina, visited North Carolina A&T. I had a cousin who went to A&T. Yeah, nice school and all, blah, blah, blah. Now, my parents are Norfolk State alums. They never hinted, never put an application in front of me, Lennon, never gave me any reason to want to apply to Norfolk State. So Norfolk State was out. But that school across the bay, that was on the trip. And when I got there and I looked around at the campus and I knew some of the talent at Hampton, I said, oh, I can be comfortable at Hampton. and I said, well, I'm close to family. It's just across the bay. So I can always, if I needed a home-cooked meal, I could go over to Suffolk. I could go over to Virginia, Norfolk. Okay. So Hampton became an interesting place to consider. Then we went to Atlanta, Morehouse. And I said, wait a minute, this is all men's school?
Wait, let me back up. I did visit Clark, Morehouse, and Morris Brown. I did visit those 3 also on that Atlanta trip to the Atlanta Football Classic. I'm sorry.
Yes. And so no one accurately explained the fact that Spelman is right across the road, because I didn't see any of that. All I kept hearing and thinking, oh man, I got to be in a school with all men, all guys, whatever. I was, whatever, Indiana kid. I wanted to see black women. I wanted to be in a room with nothing but black women, as much black women as I could see, and different ethnicities and shit. I wanted to be around black women. I was tired of being around women that
European.
Yes, I'm tired of being around that. Anyway, so then we got to Florida A&M, and it lived up to every thought and expectation. It was hot. There were hills. But boy, there were hills. My head was turning left and right. And this was during spring break for them. But there was still enough for me to say, oh, well, I can imagine what this is going to be like when it's full. So I made my choice. Great choice. The sad part is, Drew, the young lady that I kind of fell for, and she kind of was sweet on me because of this trip. I took the prom. She ended up going to Hampton. And I always regret never being a strong enough man to want to make that trip to Hampton, because I should have stayed on that. That's my big regret of all the things. Not that I didn't go to Hampton, there's that I didn't visit Hampton enough.
I visited Hampton.
I did. I should have visited Hampton more. But anyway, y'all got me on here telling stories about myself, and I don't want to do that here because it makes me sad. So, Lennon, thanks for making me sad today. I'm sure that was not your intent, but it worked. Yes, my parents, my father grew up in Norfolk. He was born and raised in Norfolk. I was born in Norfolk, actually. My parents met in Norfolk. My mom's from Philly. So there you go. All right. Let's talk about the betting scandal heard around the world, Drew. That's a great transition. That's enough about my life story. So I'm reading the article here from Kendrick Marshall over on HBCU Sports.com. If any of you may have missed one of the big college news stories that came out over the past week was the indictments of several men's college basketball players that were wrapped up in a point shaving conspiracy. I don't have the total number of games, but there was a graphic that listed the number of players wrapped into it.
I've got that. Let me see if I can pull that up, Brian.
Yeah,
keep
you
going.
Can pull up the number,
I've got one, and
right?
Yeah.
So just reading here from Kendrick's story, HBCUSports.com. Shout out to Kendrick. So federal prosecutors charged several men's college basketball players, including those with ties to HBCUs, in a widening point shaving conspiracy that authorities say spanned multiple schools and involved hundreds of thousands of dollars in illicit wagers.
I don't know if you can see that, Brian.
Yeah, so the count, let me see, in terms of players, I think I saw there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. There are 20, it looks like it's about 21 players wrapped up in this thing. 21 players, and the three HBCUs that these three players represented were North Carolina A&T State, Coppin State, and Alabama State. One CAA, one MEAC, one SWAC. Just for those of you who like to keep that kind of statistic. And again, these involve Division I programs. So you had all kinds of programs that were caught up in. Prosecutors say that at least 4 collegiate games in 2024 were intentionally manipulated to benefit a group of quote unquote fixers who placed large bets throughout U.S. sports books. Now, again, sports wagering became legalized in the country via the Supreme Court decision, I believe in 2021 is when it became legal. And what you have seen since then is sportsbook operators across various states. And I think there are 18 states where sports wagering is not legal via sportsbook, but they've even got creative with that, doing all kinds of other stuff. I think Georgia is a state.
It's not in Georgia.
Right.
You can
Georgia,
do the like prop type stuff.
Yeah, they come up with a whole new thing now, predictive markets, and they're calling them. And it's different stuff. But Georgia is technically not a state. Florida, for example, where I live, is a state where there is only one regulator. There's other states where you have multiple regulators, right? So the federal indictment, which was filed in Philadelphia, cites that the charges of, quote, bribery in sporting contest and conspiracy to commit wire fraud, federal prosecutors allege that the gambling ring bribed 39 NCAA basketball players on 17 Division I basketball teams to fix a dozen of basketball games during the 2023-24 and the 2024-25 season. So that's basically the last 2 years of games. And in short, for those of you who are unfamiliar with these markets, you can wager on an entire game. You can wager on a half. You can wager a team to win by a certain amount of points. That's called a point spread, full game or half game. You can predict or wager on the total amount scored by either team. That's called the points, the over-under. Or you can wager on Team A or Team B to win outright on what is called the money line. Okay? So those are just some of the big, outcomes that you can wager on, and then there are more micro outcomes.
Define money line for people who aren't familiar with that, Bryan.
So what's considered money line is if as I'm looking at the football game on TV, we have the Los Angeles Rams and Chicago Bears. I'm not going to use any schools, but you can say that if you think the Rams are going to win this game through the course of 4 quarters, the Rams might be predicted as a minus 110 favorite, meaning that if you wager $100, you will win $90. So it means that for every $110 wagered, it's, $100 won. With that said, there's the flip side of that, and that's called the favorite. The underdog means that the Bears might be plus 120. So that means if you wager $100 on the Bears to win, if they do win, you'll win, $120. Right. So everything is a measurement of the scale of 100. That's what you'll see. And so the higher the number after the minus means that much greater of a favorite. And the higher number after the plus means that much bigger an underdog they are. Okay. So what was happening in these fixes, as they say, is the top names that you see on the list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5 alleged fixers were people that were recruiting college basketball players around the country. Usually how this works is one guy would know somebody, and then they would contact that guy. And this network of college basketball players, a lot of these guys end up playing in summer camps and summer tournaments against each other. They get to know each other.
They play AAU ball together, all kinds of stuff.
With each other, against each other.
Call it.
Yeah, so they begin to create their own network amongst themselves, right? And that's long been a tradition. It's long happened. Well, what's happened now is, guys, you end up kind of getting to know a guy in his off the court habits, likes, so to speak. And when somebody gets their teeth into a particular player, for whatever reason, maybe a guy has a need for something.
Right. A lot of these kids come from dismal financial situations.
Correct.
And not to be cutting you off, this is the same thing before they brought all this stuff above the table. They used to get these kids in trouble with the brown paper bag sacks, the $100 handshakes, and those things, because a lot of these kids who come from a bad situation trying to survive so they don't have to call home or trying to send money back home, number one. And then on the flip side of that, kids who are just doggone greedy.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that as well. But what you'll notice is a lot of these schools are what you would call mid-major schools.
You know why?
Some of the schools on the list, you have SUNY Buffalo, Southern Miss, Kennesaw State, St. Louis, of course, Alabama State, New Orleans, Robert Morris, Nicholls State, DePaul, Eastern Michigan, A&T, Abilene Christian. I mean, there's not one Power 4, Power 5 school listed in here. And most likely that is because at that level, most of these kids are probably getting some sort of NIL, 2,
cost of
some
attendance,
sort of cost of attendance, 3, your social and economic benefits of just being at that school are probably greater than these other kids. I'm not excusing, please don't get me wrong, I am not excusing what any of these kids did, because like Drew said, greed is at the root of all of this for these young men who have sacrificed the integrity of the game. So what would happen is, these guys, these fixers, thought that if they could tell these kids, okay, yeah, I did see that, but DePaul is in the Big East, and I think I saw like Tulane, which they're in Conference USA, I think, or something like that.
American. Either that or American, one of the two. They've been bouncing around. I don't know which one they're in now.
Right. Yeah, Mike Reed, thank you. Mike Reed giving clarification in the chat room, breaking it down for people. But what they would do is they would try to convince these kids that, hey, I think there was an issue here. I'm going to read from the article here, the North Carolina A&T game, part of Probe, right? So Kamion Shell is the former guard for North Carolina A&T, cited in this indictment. Prosecutors allege he intentionally underperformed during a February 29th, 2024 home game against Towson University. According to court records, Shell, a young man who I guess most recently competed at Delaware State, I don't know if he's still there now, probably not, and another unnamed A&T player agreed during video calls with the conspirators to, quote, influence the outcome of the first half. So see, these guys were betting large sums of money on the first half. Now, mind you, first off, these books, these sporting books across the nation, they, because of the electronic ability, they can see and wait and know when large sums of money come in on a no one is betting.
Excuse me, unusually large sum.
No one is betting $10,000 on the first half of a North Carolina A&T Towson basketball game on I bet you February 29th was a Sunday, Drew. That's leap day. February 29th was a leap day, right? That was a leap year, 2024. Leap year. So I bet you, and we know CAA games are probably played on what day? Thursday.
Probably Friday, yeah. Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look up what day, but anyway, nobody's betting $10,000 on Towson to cover a 10-point first half spread. Just it's not on the radar. It did go on the radar. That's the point here. It's not a big feature game that everybody is wagering on. So that means when one person puts that kind of money, it raises a flag to say, who is this wagering on this outcome? Interesting. Let's keep note of this, right? So they kept a note of this, and after they tried to do this in so many other games, that's when they started to piece it together and started opening an investigation. Now, continuing on with the story. Towson was favored by 7 points in the half. Notice what I said, right? Favored to win the first half by 7. They went on to win the first half 42-21. True. They were leading at halftime by 21 points against A&T. Jeff Roberts, I see you in there. Aggie Pride. I bet you remember this game. Towson easily covered that game, and they went on to win 84-58. Now, I don't know if this A&T team was any good or not, but let's just say if you're favored to win by 7 at half, that means usually you're probably favored to win by 14-15 in that game, right? And that's, again, Towson on the road, favorite to win by 14-15 overall, 7.5. Okay. Investigators say that text messages received from the defendants show direct coordination between Shell and one of the scheme's alleged orchestrators, a man by the name of Jalen Smith, before the game. That's another thing that caught these kids up. They were text messaging, right? Good old text message, text communication always gets you in trouble. Quote, one message said, 10 or more points, bro. We shouldn't need sweating SH, okay? So Smith was instructing Shell to ensure that A&T failed to cover the spread. That means stay within 7 points. Shell reportedly responded affirmatively, adding the love emoji. You know how when someone you agree, you hit either the thumbs up or the love emoji when you agree with their text, okay? After the game, prosecutors alleged Smith and Shell exchanged text arranging payoff logistics, with Shell expressing concern about meeting in person. Now, see, this is where Shell, his light bulb went off and said he knows he's doing wrong. And he's like, yeah, I don't want to meet in person, bro. You want to wire me the money. Okay, so now we move into the second indictment on him, which
wire
is
fraud.
Wire fraud. Smart move, Mr. Shell. Smart move.
And can I say something about that?
Sure, yeah.
Wire fraud also includes, for those who think they're smart, when you send money from your Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Pay, all that stuff. That stuff falls under wire fraud, everybody. Just so you understand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Shell said, quote, hell nah. Ain't nobody down here I trust.
I'm sorry. That's funny.
It is. I'm sorry.
That's funny. That's
Asking
funny as hell.
how much money was supposed to be delivered. In other words, he said, I'm not willing to meet you at a Denny's restaurant at 11 o'clock at night to pick up my bag of money. I would rather have you wire it to me online. And that about dumb as could be. But anyway, I guess that's why they got caught. So anyway, that's just one story. You can go read the article, HBCUsports.com, because they do give some details again on the Alabama State. He gives some indication here. Alabama State's Sean Fulcher was named as part of this, in which he was a transfer from Buffalo University. He allegedly brought several teammates, including point guard Corey Hines, into the operation, and Hines is listed in this as well. So, yeah, it's crazy. I think before I go to you, Drew, my one thought in reading all this is, to my knowledge, the NCAA has not, at least so far, held any of the schools liable, accountable, or any kind of, what's the word? What's the death penalty word that the NCAA likes to use? Lack of institutional control. There's been none of that talked about. This has solely been the focus of players making poor decisions to make mistakes, miss layups, miss free throws, do a poor job of defending, all so that the opposing team can make enough points to cover whatever the spread is. So I ask you, Drew, one of the things that we talked about is what are schools like your institution, what are they doing to make student athletes aware of the dangers of falling down this pit hole? Or what are they doing just in general to deal with stories like this, which when a story comes up like this, all college basketball programs, all athletic programs, given how vibrant gambling is today in America because it is legal, what type of things are being done that you're hearing about? And I'm not really putting it on you and Morehouse, but I'm just saying from you talk to a lot of SIDs and you have a lot of insight in the industry.
First of all, these you want to leave these names up? You want to pull them down?
No, I'm gonna pull it down. I'm gonna put the link here. I'm gonna show the screen from the article. Go ahead.
First of all, there's education that usually occurs. Used to be once upon a time that you actually had to go into a classroom and do this. Now it's more of an online module that students are supposed to go through, among other educational things that they do with students. And it's emphasized: do not bet on your game. Now, I'm gonna be real, Brian. At a Morehouse, at a Division II institution, we don't necessarily have those type of problems because you can't find a book with our games on them, Brian.
That part, yes, that part
Yes.
right there.
So our we're a little bit different than some of the schools, even our SWAC and MEAC schools would potentially have, because there is no market for this. Tell me if you can go find our game tomorrow, Ryan. You can't against Howard.
Yeah, I shouldn't be able to.
Correct.
Because Howard's playing right. Because Howard's playing a Division II team.
Correct. Now, if Howard was playing Coppin State, you'd probably be able to find it somewhere. But the problem, Brian, is back in the day when this stuff used to happen, it was the dirty bookie that you met in the barbershop or in the bar or something like that. Brian, this is your bookie now. Look at me, Brian.
I see it. I'm very familiar with him.
This is your bookie. So access has created a problem. And kids not understanding, you're not smarter than the system, and not taking the accountability. If you don't want to get caught, let's start off with the basics, Brian. Damn it, don't do it. If you don't do it, then you won't get caught doing it. So, but getting back to your question, yes, there is education of it, and I expect there's going to be some more education that comes out with this. Now, Brian, let's stop and think about this though.
Mm-hmm.
We just saw current NBA players, former NBA players, a current NBA head coach go down the first week of the season. Now we see 20 some odd collegiate athletes go down. For what?
Exactly. For what?
This was one of those things when they made this legal everywhere and brought it above ground. The unintended consequences of this are things like this that you see, Brian. And it's a reality that when you're in athletics, you have to deal with. It makes you, if you're somebody who partakes in the markets, Brian, how well do you trust what we see? Because we've all had that. We always used to have that joke. Yeah, he out there point shaving with somebody. And a lot of, honestly, these people were just having a poor night. The difference between a poor night And it happens. You just can't throw the ball in the ocean from the shore with water in between your toes sometimes. And things like this is there's a paper trail, Brian. Oh, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
There's an electronic trail of this.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And now in our big brother society, you can't call people because you can get wiretapped. You can't text people because they can subpoena those records from Verizon, AT&T, or whoever you are. You know, nobody thinks about a burner phone anymore because they're hard to obtain. You don't even have the analog phones anymore that you could do it. So, and then when you talk about nobody, Ryan, when last time you went to the bank? See what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
See what I
Yeah.
mean? You get direct
Yeah.
deposit. You do most of your banking from your phone or your computer.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I went to the bank, Brian, I had to get a cashier's check for something, and I refused. Well, I had to pay something, and I needed to do it via cashier's check because I refused to go to the ATM and pull that kind of money out of an ATM.
Well, yeah. Yeah. True.
So I went. I was saying it was a large sum of money, and I went and did a cashier's check instead. Because that was the only way
Mm-hmm.
I could do it, and I couldn't because I couldn't transfer the money electronically because of how we had to do business on that first day. Had nothing to do with sports. Everybody, just want to make sure we're clear about that. But
Yeah, we gotta be more.
yeah, but no, it was a business transaction though. I do some consulting, so but Brian, these kids, everybody who you had on that list, I guarantee you, has absolutely this much NIL.
Yeah.
And when you see all these other kids out here getting these NIL deals, fighting for all these scraps, I guarantee you, most of these kids aren't even getting cost of attendance, Brian. A lot of
Yeah.
these people on here probably got student loans to pay back, despite the
Mm.
fact that they're playing Division I basketball. So it's something that we have to figure out about the economics of this so that these kids are not tempted. Yes, there will be an idiot. I don't care what kind of safeguards we put in, there will be an idiot who's going to try the system.
Yeah,
But,
exactly. I'm not gonna get caught. Won't be me.
it ain't going to be you, the not be. And then, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Yes, you did. You did it. Damn it, you did it.
Mhm.
So these kids, because and here's the thing: if those kids had any inkling of going pro, and I don't mean in the league, even overseas, stuff like this will follow them.
Mhm.
Their basketball
Yeah.
careers are probably over because when you go overseas, there's already enough people overseas. There's already enough funny stuff that go on with your money overseas.
Hey, they've been allowing sports gambling across the Atlantic and Pacific way longer than America. So I don't have any doubt that they're very familiar with and have better mechanisms and systems in place than what America or U.S. sites have been able to put up over the last few years. And especially when it used to be just one state, Drew. Remember that. It used to be just Las Vegas, which was
Vegas.
the Vegas where sports betting was legal. They would watch for these type of things because you had to fly to Vegas for these kind of things, right? Now you've got this kind of stuff happening all over the state, country rather. Here's one last thought here, Drew, and then we got to go to a break. The dirty little secret that no one's talking about is the trading of information. One thing that I've learned over the past 30 years, because I always used to wonder, how do they know how do they have a feel for this kind of stuff? Well, you know what? Think about, and I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not indicting anybody or accusing anybody at any particular school, but it's not just players who talk to people. There are staff, coaches, there are friends of friends who talk about games and players and tendencies and strategy, and smart handicappers, people who do this for a living, they make money based off information. And so if they know that the number one team in the country is coming in town and that the local team they're playing is a 9.5 to 10-point underdog, and when people talk to people who know guys on the number one team in the country, and they know that we're not going to look, that's a good team. We're not going to beat them by 10. We're going to beat them, but yeah, I don't think we're going to beat them by 10. And they're kind of telling you something, Drew. That, to me, that's telling you, oh, I need to back the home team +9. And right. So when you start to see all of what they call sharp money, that's people who do this for a living and spend large amounts of money doing this. When they start jumping on a team as an underdog, pay attention. So I will tell you, folks, pay attention to, for example, tomorrow, Miami is an 8.5-point underdog against the number one team in the country, but Miami's at home. I haven't heard too many people saying that Miami won't stay within a touchdown. This is what anything can happen because, you can't predict weather, you can't predict turnovers, you can't predict that kind of stuff. But, just it'd be interesting to kind of see how that plays out. But it's a challenge that just one more thing that mid-majors, low-resource institutions, HBCUs have to deal with in this college sports environment that, sometimes it makes you miss the good old days, Drew, when, I don't know, I was talking to a guy in the convenience store. We were talking about our favorite teams from the 80s because we grew up in the 80s, right? We were talking about how, I hate to say it, how pure college football was in the 80s. And if you know anything, that's saying something, right? I knew I'd get a chuckle. How pure college football was in the 80s. And if that's saying something, if you know, right?
SMU.
But, man, yeah, we probably the first NIL program as SMU. But anyway, let's take that break here coming up because our good friend Charles Edmond is waiting. He's in the background. Of course, Charles Edmond of Alcorn State Sports, and one of the members of the panel on the Carlos Brown Show. That airs every Saturday right here on the Black College Sports Network. Charles is going to talk to us. We're going to get a little SWAC basketball update, man. He had a heck of a game that he had to call in Lorman, man. I don't even know if Charles knows what happened, but I got the video. We'll go to the video replay and see if Drew and Charles can make heads and tails over. I wish I had a soundbite that just said, what the hell was that? And we can make sense out of what we saw on the reservation yesterday. You're watching the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. Hang tight with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU Sports. with me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2026? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 30th to February 1st, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app. And enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan and A.D, I think, is there. And joining us is our good friend, Charles Edmond. Charles, how you doing, brother?
Hey, guys, how you doing? Happy New Year. First time we've had a chance to speak in 2026.
Exactly, man. Happy New Year.
Charles, how long do we say Happy New Year to people?
That's a good question. I mean, if it's the first time we've seen in 2026 and you kind of talk often, I would say Happy New Year. But if once we get into January, that's a wrap. Like, hey, how you doing? If the first time you see them in 2026. Still early in 2026 though, so I'm still in the Happy New Year phase.
I love that.
Just had to ask.
You took all your Christmas decorations down, though, right? Charles, you took all your Christmas decorations down. You don't have any Christmas decorations up, do you?
Oh, no, sir.
Okay. All right. Just checking. Just want to make sure. Well, Charles, looks like you guys are making some interesting news already early into the SWAC season, just into the third weekend of the SWAC season. We actually have enough data to actually debut our BCSN top 5 with Division I. But boy, you had an interesting game yesterday on the men's side of things. The video, we're going to go to the video. The video, courtesy of HBCU Sports.
Bryan, you are good with the evidence and the receipts. When I need evidence and receipts, I'm going to go to A.D. Drew and Brian Fulfer because you all got it.
Well, we couldn't. I wanted to talk to you just because you didn't get a chance to talk yesterday. We didn't obviously no show yesterday with the Carlos Brown show, and then I saw the tweet, And I was like, oh my God. And I said, oh, we got to have Charles on the show. We got to have Charles on the show. So let's go to the video, and then somehow we'll try to explain what we saw, what we didn't see. Again.
Or didn't hear.
Right.
Andrews will inbound the basketball. Andrews, top of the circle, Roberts. Roberts, step back, short, follow is up, no, Braves win. Anderson's follow is no good. There was a foul. Didn't hear a whistle. They said there was a foul.
Can we rerun that, Brian?
I didn't hear a whistle. Was there a foul?
With full screen.
With maybe a half a
Say
second
again.
left, the officials are gonna
Can we rerun this with full screen? I missed something
I
there.
did not hear a
I'm trying to
whistle.
look at
It
this.
was so loud in here.
All right. Hold on.
And they wave it
There
off.
we go.
That's it.
All right. So here's the actual
Andrews will
play, Drew.
inbound the basketball. Andrews, top of the circle, Roberts. Roberts, step back, short, follow is up, no, Braves win. Anderson's follow is no good. There was a foul. Didn't hear a whistle.
One more time, Brian. I think I got something here. Let me see it again. One more
Okay, hold
time.
on. Before I go to that, hold on, Charles. Let me ask a couple of thoughts here. Now, the score. Now, the article says the final score was 72-71. In favor of Texas Southern, I guess. But I'm not seeing that on the scoreboard there at the bottom. Is something off there with the scoreboard?
It 71-70. The score was 72-71. It was 71-70, and obviously they hit the couple of free throws there to make it 72-71.
Okay. So, Drew, here it is. One more time for you, Drew. Feel free to tell me to hit stop whenever. Okay. I'm going to run it this time without any of the volume. So that way we can talk about what we see here. I thought, honestly, there was an over the back, but that's just my opinion.
Okay. You have to focus on the center official. That's the official when you run that video. It's close to us. See if you can stop it when he raises his hand, because that's when he calls the foul.
Now, who is the center official? I have a guy in the bottom left of the screen.
Bottom left. Bottom left.
Oh,
that's the C.
The guy at the bottom left who's on the sideline.
Yes.
Okay, I'll stop it when I see him lift his hand.
Right. Okay. All right. Charles, help me out. Was the foul or the offense or the defense right here that he?
The foul was on us. The foul was on
white.
And you're in white.
In white.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at this official here on this near side, and I'm looking at the backboard, the timing of that versus.
And that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at triple zeros on the clock. I see red light.
Yeah.
And when we have the audible, when we have the visual signal,
right,
of the foul.
Okay, so with that being the case, and again on this near side, I'm looking at it. The officials huddled up and they said ball game. Now I think all of this could have been avoided if they went to the monitor after this, but they called game. The officials huddled up at midcourt. They called
right.
ball
We'll see
game.
the officials in a second. I'm gonna pause it when I see the officials huddle. There's one guy. There's two. Okay, right there is where you're starting to see the officials huddle.
Right. they're going to huddle up and they're going to talk it over, and then they're going to call ball game after all of this. Of course, you know, players everywhere, they're going to huddle up right. I think they're huddled up right there, and I think they were closer to midcourt if I'm not mistaken. And after the discussion, they said ball game.
All right. I've got a couple questions for you, Charles. Now, mind you, and Brian will tell you, I am not one to criticize officials as a former official. And yes, I did referee at this level. Here's my first question. Was the replay system operable? Do you know of that?
Yes.
And the officials, I'm assuming they tested before the game.
Yep.
Were there any other replays during the game?
Yes. There was. Yes.
So they did know, they did go to it and it actually worked, because sometimes it's operable pregame, and when you go to the monitor, it's not operable. And at that point, if they go to it for the first time and it's not operable, they will not use it for the rest of the game.
Correct. It was operable, and that's how they were able to determine how much time to put back on the clock. Now, I said on the call it was about a half a second, and I didn't hear a whistle. It was so loud I didn't hear a whistle. But if they determined that there was a foul, in my guesstimation, there would have been about a half a second left. As it turns out, after going to the monitor, they determined there was 0.4 of a second left. There was a foul, and then free throws were shot and made. And of course, you know, we lose the game on that point. So yes, the replay was working. There were no issues with that at all. And so it's just, you know, I guess the question for me is, was there a foul? Based on just the action, I didn't see it, and I know I'm gonna sound like a homer here.
Well, let me go back. All right, thank you, Dr. Gavil, for putting that comment.
I paused it right there. I paused it right when he raised it.
The lead official raises his hand right there, and our clock is. Can we see our clock, Brian?
The red light is on the backboard.
All right. Okay. So we've got not one but two officials. And I wish we could zoom to see where the contact, because that angle is a little bit too far out to see any potential contact. And let me tell everybody, what I'm doing is what we would do in an officials meeting after post game, when we would get these videos in. Right there. Okay, I saw the lead official raise his hand first.
But Drew, let me ask you a question here.
Yes.
If you're saying that so what they're saying is Alcorn State committed a foul. I watched this 10 times. I don't know what white jersey player committed a foul.
It's hard to see from this. The only thing, and let me tell you what he's looking at. Hold on, and I wish I could see his head. Right there. Okay. If they're doing what they're supposed to do, the lead official, the one that's on the baseline, should not even be watching the ball go in. He is picking up the rebounders.
Well, he did look to his left. You can see him look to his left and saw the shooter. If you're saying that
that shooter was in his primary, so he has the shooter. He has the shooter until he lands. And no, he does not have the shooter. The trail official has the shooter, because the trail, and I'm getting real technical for everybody right now. The trail official has the shooter because the drive started outside the 3-point arc. It's outside the 3-point arc, so he has him at that point. If anything, if there was a foul, and that foul would have had to come from the trail, it would have been on their potential box out. But that would have come from the trail official, which is the one at the top right for those who don't understand basketball officiating.
But even after all of that. But even after all of that, okay, if there was a foul, I'm good with the fact that there was a foul. Did I see one and I'm on the opposite side away from, I'm sitting away from this basket here. I'm good with the fact that there was a foul. I didn't see it from 60 feet away. I didn't see it, but nonetheless, if there was a foul and they went back to the review, to the replay, and if there was a foul with time left, I'm good with it. But after all the discussion, they met at midcourt and they said game over. It should have been game over. But then Johnny Jones races out and he got a tech early in the game. So, he was in his whatever. And I understand it was a good ball game and all that. He beats the officials and causes a conversation in which they come back and review it. So my issue with it, again, it was a good game, but why not review it right there? And you can determine whether or not a foul was committed or not. That's the only thing. And Jake Morton was, he was confused about it. Players high-fiving him, and out of all of that, he could have got a Gatorade bath out of that and didn't have to come back out. And that as a coach, that's probably as humiliating as it gets. His first home game, it's our first home game of the year. Texas Southern was a good basketball team. So to have that happen, I think it's just frustrating. I talked with him earlier. He hasn't gotten any response from the conference office. My guess is he might get a little bit of something out of it. We got a game tomorrow that we got to get ready for. But my only issue with it is if it's a foul, fine. Look at it, determine if it was called after zeros hit the clock, the game is over. But when you go out there and you say game over, and then you come back, I think that the operation of it is my only confusion. And maybe I'll get some more clarity.
One last question, Charles. And I think I did see something potentially that could have been a foul if that was a foul. If they called a foul on white number 1 with 0.7 on their clock, as I just saw it, potentially. I don't know who the foul was called on, but if it was on white number 1, Charles, they got a case for blowing that whistle. Now, Charles, did the referees ever leave the court?
No.
Okay. That's crucial.
Yeah. Once they met at midcourt and they said game over, Johnny Jones raced out there, and I think he probably realized that once they left the court, that was it. There was nothing. There was
exactly. No that's why I was going to say that. So once they leave the confines of the court, then the game is over because a coach can get a technical foul after the game is over with.
Yeah. So I got it. I got that part of it. But when the officials said game over, instead of looking at it at the very beginning, if there was a foul, fine. I'm good with that. But when you said game over, you didn't even look at it at first. That's where I think that's where I'm confused. Maybe I'm wrong. A.D., you know all the new. Why not go to the monitor first?
I agree with you on that.
So let me ask this question. Now I know in the NBA they look at the review and disputing fouls. We're not at that level in the SWAC in college basketball, are we? Did I miss the memo? Did I miss the notes that say fouls are reviewable?
The timing of the foul is reviewable. That's the only thing that would have been reviewable.
You're saying the foul itself is not reviewable.
There are a couple of things that you can go to replay on, and you can go to the replay on a charge block on the circle, whether the player was inside or outside the semicircle under the basket. You can check their feet on that. Obviously, anything to the head, things like that, you can go through and review those. But those are you reviewing those to see if the contact was the level of a being upgraded to a F1 type foul. And also in this I've seen this also when a foul occurs during a dead ball, you also can determine whether the ball was live or dead, because that determines on how everything is adjudicated in those situations. So there are a couple of things. Whether there's a foul or not, I think you can Yeah, yes, you can. You can now with replay in college. You can actually go through and a coach can challenge whether that was a foul or not.
But why not do that before the official said game over? The
Yeah.
officials.
I don't understand, and I don't know the rules at the Division I level, specifically in the SWAC. I don't even know if that was one. Hey, can I use my coach's challenge here? That may have been. And you talk about how they came and they came back out. That may have been the case, Charles. He may have used a coach's challenge if he had not used it at that point with no time on the clock for them to go to the monitor. That may be the out.
They did have a timeout, and I believe they did not. Johnny Jones did challenge. He did challenge a call towards the end of the game, and he lost five challenges.
Well, see, like I said, I don't know the SWAC rules, the Division I rules off the top of my head. I know at our level, in our conference, if you lose that challenge, that first challenge, you're done.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure about that, but if he had a challenge left and a timeout left, that maybe that's how they were able to go to the monitor post game before they left the confines.
All I know, guys, is this: if it was a foul, if there was time left, fine. Review that first without coming out there saying game over. I think people would be more comfortable, and we can argue and debate whether it was a foul or whether it's time left. But look at it. Look at the monitor and see where you are, if there's time left or foul or whatever the case. Instead of saying game over and the fans are screaming and jumping up and down and celebrating, then, Coach Morton could have been in the locker room getting a Gatorade bath, and he had to come back out there and endure that. I mean, that's just my feeling on it. But just go to the replay first, go to the monitor first, and if it's determined that there was time left, then fine. We can argue whether it was a foul or not. I mean, you see that all the time in college basketball. You see that now. I didn't necessarily see it, but they're probably obviously the officials had a better look at it. The official on the far side, away from this near side here, I did see that he raised his hand. So he would be the one that would see that on the baseline there. Yeah, right there on the far side.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure somebody, whoever the head of officials in the SWAC office, along with potentially up to the commissioner, are going to be reviewing this particular play. Yeah. It's an unfortunate situation, especially once again when you're doing this in real time. It's tough. It is tough, and so you got 6'8", 6'9" out there, big bodies. Everybody's moving around. Just a lot going on.
So just so that people can know what we're looking at, the foul was called on. I went back to the official looking at play-by-play. Called on number 0, Shane Lancaster for Alcorn State in white.
Yep.
The offended Texas Southern player is number 0, Alex Anderson.
Yep.
Anderson is who you see come flying in, who, I don't know, I kind of felt like he was kind of over the back. That's just me. But number 0 is the one who kind of for Alcorn, who kind of gets tripped into, or he trips into Anderson, because Anderson's in the air. Watch the replay. Anderson's in the air, and Lancaster kind of is trying to avoid another teammate in the paint. There he is. Man, that's such a tough
This is all
call.
I'm gonna say about this. I hope that was not the angle that they had at the replay, because that is a horrible angle to see what we try to look at.
Well, this baseline angle right here hopefully was the additional angle that they used to look at the replay.
Well, we have 3 cameras.
So. They have 3 cameras.
We have 3 cameras. So the officials we have a replay guy at the table that whatever angle that they need to see. They'll get a chance to look at it from whatever angles they want to look at. So we have 3 angles for them to look at. So if there were other angles to look at other than this one here, this is one angle. There's a couple of others that they could take a look at if they chose to.
And the last thing I'm looking at is, does the quote unquote foul, Doc says it's a foul, but I'm going to go quote unquote foul. Does it occur before the clock goes red? Yes, it did. Whatever the perceived foul was, it did occur before the clock went 00.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, I'm looking at it in real time, 100 miles an hour. That's fine if that's what happened. All I'm saying is that they should have went to the monitor at first, and I think that would have cleared up all of this. But they didn't. They went to midcourt. They said game over, and that's where I'm confused. And I think that's where a lot of folks are confused. The operation. I mean, if it's a foul, if there's a half a second left, if it's 0.4 of a second left, that's fine. But when you say game over, if Johnny Jones was held up and the officials left the court, that was a ball game. They would have lost the game. But he sprinted out there to catch them before they left. Now the question is, AD, when the game is over like that, can the coach institute a review as the officials said game over and they're heading off the court? Can the head coach turn the officials around and make them go back and look at it? Because when they say this right here, I'm thinking this means done. It's a wrap.
Yeah, that I don't know because replay was not prevalent when I was officiating last. So I'm not as versed in that portion of the replay thing. The only thing I know is what my responsibilities are as a host institution to make sure that I have replay available for the officials. I have worked replay. I have never been put in that type of position. I've been put in the spot where we've had to go through. We got a foul. How much time do we need to put back on the clock? I've been in those situations, but we talk about clearly seconds, 2 seconds, 2.3 seconds. I have not been at the replay table when we've had that situation under a second when you're trying to figure out point whatever of a second. And here's the other thing. The reason I was looking for this is you don't have audio on that replay.
Right.
This, when we go to the replay, this is what you're looking for.
Right.
Or open hand indicating, but that going up, it indicates the clock is stopped. If the fist is closed, that means you have a foul. If the hand is open, that means you have a violation, travel, double dribble, something like that. I'm getting into the weeds with some of this stuff, except for alternating possession when you go straight here. Where's my camera at? Right, where you go straight here. But those are the things that when you go through and look, that's where the clock should stop. And when you have to go back to that replay, that's the first. You notice that was the first thing I was looking for. When did I see an official raise their hand to know? And then, but both situations that I looked at, when I saw it, I saw red light. So how much do you allow for what they call reaction time? And one last thing. Do you guys have the packs? The referee packs. Referees wear the packs.
Yeah.
They do wear the packs.
Yes.
When they blow the whistle, the clock automatically stops.
We test that before
Ooh. I'm gonna be quiet now.
Why is that? I mean, before every
because if they have the packs, that person at the table, they have nothing to do with stopping the clock.
Correct.
That clock stops on beep.
Right. Yeah.
So if they tested those packs,
yeah,
like I said, I'm gonna be quiet now.
You have that, and then you also have the video evidence to also confirm or deny whether or not there's time on the clock as well. So, I mean, testing of those packs, I see that all over the conference. They do it all the time. So, I mean, again, it was a tough loss. It's difficult to swallow. People are still talking about it. I get it. All I'm saying is that if there was time left on the clock, if there was a foul, the video evidence, let's talk about that right away instead of going to mid-court saying game over, and then everybody's in a frenzy, and then you got to come back. That just the operation, the order of it to me is what was confusing to me. Been doing it 34 years at Alcorn. I hadn't seen one like that. I mean, you're always going to see something different. One of my mentors said in the game, I cannot believe what I just saw. I couldn't believe what I just saw. I mean,
that old Jack Buck.
That old Jack Buck. I could not believe what I just saw. And you got to feel for Coach Morton, first year in the SWAC, just learning, and you were so happy and jubilant. First home game of the season against a really good team at Texas Southern. They had some injuries, of course. They were struggling. But to get that first one and then to have that happen, and then all of a sudden you lost the game, that's tough. But you got a game tomorrow against Prairie View, a team with a couple of really good scorers. Probably one of the more important early season games for Alcorn, because mentally now I'm worried about the mental aspect of it. And I know for players, you got to shake it off. That's a hard one to shake off. They're going to have to. They're going to have to. But tomorrow's game against Prairie View at 2:00 is going to be really big for the psyche of this team early in conference, in my opinion.
Let me read the from the HBCU Sports.com article here. This actually comes, the quote from your conversation with Coach Morton, where Morton is saying, quoted, "The referee called the game. I was in the handshake line, leaving the court, and the referees were walking off the floor. Then I just saw Johnny Jones run at him, and I'm like, for what? The game was called." He continues on by saying, "They said the foul was called before the clock expired," Morton explained. "But it wasn't even a foul. Shane Lancaster was just boxing his man out, not a shooting foul, nothing. The kid did what he's supposed to do." I can see in the, okay, so it was a bonus foul. So even if it was, this is what I'm curious about. And I'll be interested to see how two leagues respond. And it kind of mirrors the conversation we were having in the last segment, Charles. And I'm gonna go here with this. And I don't know if anybody, I'm sure somebody was wagering on this game. Okay. Somebody was somewhere. I know at least one person. Not me, but I know at least one person. But what I'm saying is, what we've seen in sports in yesterday was how officials and replay, how they adjudicate things and how things are called. And again, I don't want to debate whether it was or wasn't a catch, whether it was or wasn't a foul. But what I do want to debate is the timing of the process to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
So in that play, and if you know what I'm talking about, there seemed to be no extra effort to make sure that it really was a catch, or was it really an interception? Because that swung the balance of a game. That sent one team's seasons over.
Yeah.
Right? Now, for whatever you want to say, there's more basketball left to be played in Alcorn State's season. But it's still an important game.
Absolutely.
Right? It's still an important game.
Yeah, and it's a big game because, number one, it's the first game of the season. Now, that's a whole nother conversation. And Jake Morton admitted that he didn't know they were playing the first 3 conference games on the road. He would have tried to get more home games. But still, a lot of folks were looking forward to this first home game. We came off the Alabama swinging Jackson 1-2. And, we let the Jackson game slip away after trailing by 17, had a 5-point lead, couldn't finish that. Against Alabama State, we didn't shoot well. We beat A&M coming from behind, and then we had a lead against TSU, let that kind of slip, and you know what happened there. So there was some momentum building. First-year coach Jake Morton, all of that stuff. And so this game was huge in terms of you win it, you're 2-2. You got a Prairie View team with a really couple of good scores. You go to Florida. We'll be in your state, Brian. We'll be in Florida. We'll be in Daytona this week, in Tallahassee next Monday. First year, you kind of feel some momentum. But this game, the way you lost it, and just the fragility of the mental aspect of it, you lose a game like this at home. It's tough, and so that's all I'm saying as far as that goes. But look, all we can do is go by the video evidence that we have, and that play, that Buffalo game, I mean, that was brutal too. That was brutal as well. Is it a catch? Is it an interception? All you can go by is the video evidence. Did he have possession? Did he come down, make a football move? The evidence will show you some of that, and you can slow it down as slow as you want, but it's still one of those determinations. So I did catch the latter part of your segment on the gambling thing, and there's some SWAC players that were involved in that. And I remember some of those guys calling the games that they were involved in Alabama State. And it's, this is anytime you have something like that, and with where we are with gambling and point shaving and lines and bets, that is always going to come up. I think it's going to come up going forward because this is just the era that we're in. And as A.D. Drew pointed out, you can do all this from your phone, from your computer, and so it's instant, it's quick, it's right there. Well, and so it's
and I think what I would want from the league office is to show the transparency of putting a statement out to look, if the officials were correct in how they handle it, come out and say how they were correct in handling it. If they were incorrect in how they handled it, but the call was correct, come out and say that. But in the world that we live in, where we have seen officials be indicted for that kind of stuff, we have seen coaches, we have seen players.
Yeah.
Right? Everything needs to be transparent. And
you want a statement. You want a statement.
We want a statement.
Right.
A statement of clarity to show integrity that these games are above board. Because now it used to be a little backroom joke that we would joke about in the barbershop, but now it's reality because everybody is putting something on it around the country and eyes are on it. So if we really want to take it seriously and not have your league, your officials, your players, your coaches question for their integrity, then when a situation like that comes up, there needs to be the head of officials in the Southwestern Athletic Conference needs to make a statement, in my opinion. Okay. Now, y'all may say, Brian, who are you? You're nobody. Okay. I'm nobody, right? I'm just a talking head here. But more and more people talk about these kind of things. And when multiple things happen, just as what happened with these indicted, one guy shaving points on a half-court game kind of looked at like, what? Why are y'all spending $10,000 on a Towson, North Carolina A&T game? But when you start to see that happen across 20-something games, oh, wait a minute, we got something here. We got a pattern of corruption going on that needs to be investigated. So while it may start with one thing, it may turn into other things. And then it just leads us all into questioning what have we been watching for how long? So that's all I'm saying. I mean, congratulations on the win. I hope you guys, Charles and Alcorn, can rebound from this. But I just think the seriousness of it needs to be put out there, and there needs to be something stated by Tuesday. You're not going to do it tomorrow because you don't want to take away from the games that are playing tomorrow. But by Tuesday, Wednesday latest, something needs to be said regarding what we saw, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. I mean, I think in this era of transparency, I do think that, when you have a play like that, because it's still rattling around in my brain. It's still rattling around in your brain. And Braves fans, I'm looking on social media, even just before we went on, people are still posting People are still posting the video. People are still commenting on it. Is it a foul? Was it not a foul? All of that. I hope that the conference comes out with some sort of statement, or if anything, and as Dr. Cavill said, it will get all the calls to. Okay, well, I do think that there will be probably something. I talked with Jake Morton a little while ago, and he hadn't heard anything, so maybe they're still reviewing everything, and I know he wants an explanation, and I'll talk to him tomorrow. That'll be the first thing I ask him. Did the conference office provide any clarity? And I was hoping to get a little bit, today, knowing that will come on with you, but he didn't have any. He's got a game to prepare for tomorrow, so I get it. But there's some other things that he was questioning too within the context of the game. So you kind of knew that was going to happen too. It wasn't just that play, but there are other things within the game that he wants answers for. So I think the conference is really good, in my opinion, when it comes to those things.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime bands kind of get into it, and we've seen that pregame scuffles, the conference comes out and they dole out the punishment. I mean, however long it takes to dole out the punishment, they do that. So I do think that this will be something that I'm sure the conference will probably provide some clarity on. I have full confidence in Commissioner McClellan and the brass there to get that out there.
11 teams are within 2 games. I mean, from Florida A&M, Bethune, and Jackson State in first to Alcorn, who's now 1-3, we're talking 2 games. So when we talk about all games matter in the SWAC this year, I mean, look, I'm going to be the first to – I don't know if it'll last. Just take note of where we're at today, right? Because maybe by the midway point of the season, this will be separated. But can you imagine if we go into somehow, by some way, some strange occurrence, if we go into the tournament and again, because everybody gets in the tournament and we poop, a lot of us, not all, but a lot of us that I know have poo-pooed this concept of all 12 getting in. But imagine in year one, Charles, if there's 11 teams within 3 games of each other going into the tournament in first place. And can you imagine what these little micro games where we're coming back and talking about, man, remember that game back on January 18th? It's wow, that's the difference between being the 10 seed and a 7 or 6 seed. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. It's I don't know. We got a lot of basketball.
Right, we just saw it at volleyball.
Yes. We just saw it in volleyball where half the tournament was tied at whatever.
5 through 8 had the same exact record, and it came down to tiebreakers.
Tiebreakers.
I think it's going to happen. We're about almost a third of the way through. I think the signs are there. I mean, last year it was Southern's men raced out to 8-0, 9-0, whatever it was. And on the women's side, you had a team or two that was kind of raced out. But this year is different. There, you have every team has at least a loss at this point. And I think it's proven that the parity is there. If you don't come ready to play, you have a team like Mississippi Valley's women that, everybody thought that in years past that was an easy W or 2. Not the case.
It's not
the case.
My Rattlers found that out. It's not. You gotta fight to go. That Valley team, boy, they'll fight you for 4 quarters. You better come ready to play.
And a lot of that is pride. I mean, they've got pretty decent talent, but the fact that for so long they've just been kind of the doormat. Everyone just assumed, oh yeah, we got a couple of wins against the Lady Devilettes, and so now they're playing with a chip on their shoulder every game, and I get that, and that's fine. That's fine for the conference. It's definitely fine for Valley. So to your point, I do think the conference office might be as busy as it's ever been because you're going to have to unsort and unthaw these standings. Teams with double byes, that's a great advantage. But if you're in that bottom bracket, you got to play a lot of basketball to hoist the championship trophy. So and to your point, a lot of people I've talked to, they're good with it, but there's some that have shows in this space that aren't in agreement with all 12 teams. Some are pretty outward with it. It waters it down. And so I get that too. I respect that too. But student athletes in the Southwestern Athletic Conference want to go to the tournament. That's the reason why you have all 12 of these teams in. There's a student athlete advisory committee that's a part of the SWAC fabric. They wanted to go to the tournament despite the record. So this is where we are. And we saw some upsets last year when you had 10 teams in, and you already got upsets in the regular season for teams that you just don't expect. So, buckle up. It's going to be a fun ride between now and the first part of March.
Yes, it will be. Here's the men's schedule for tomorrow on MLK Day. And then, Charles, I have to ask you a question, and I hate to do it because I didn't preface this for you, and I maybe you might know where I'm going with this question. Okay, so the games tomorrow scheduled: Prairie View at Alcorn. That's a 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 Central tip-off from Norman. Alabama A&M and Alabama State. That game is a 4 o'clock Central, 5 Eastern from Mobile, Alabama. That'll be on SWAC TV. You got Bethune traveling to UAPB, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern on SWAC TV. That's interesting because Pine Bluff has this one on SWAC TV, but their game Saturday was not. I don't understand why some are, some aren't. Texas Southern at Jackson State, 7 Central, 8 Eastern on SWAC TV. FAMU at Mississippi Valley State, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, SWAC TV. Charles,
before you turn it over to Charles, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Who in the hell schedules night basketball games on the same night as the national championship game?
They don't look at that.
Folks in Mississippi. Folks in Mississippi. Folks in Mississippi.
That game should have been treated like
in Mississippi.
If you have to play those games on National Championship Day and King Day, those should be treated like a Saturday game, a 2-4 start or 1-3 start.
Drew, they knew no team from Mississippi. They knew no team from Mississippi was going to be in that game. That's right.
But no, seriously though, that game should have been treated like a Saturday game. Played during the day. You probably would have got a lot more working class people to come to those games because a lot of people are off on this Monday.
Well, that's the reason why our game is at 2 o'clock. And it's because it's a national holiday. If this was a regular Monday, the game would be
obviously it's going to be at 6 and 8.
It would be at it was originally scheduled for 7, but I've been told that
it's only single games. I forgot.
Yeah, just a game. But yet, I mean, to be honest, I don't think when these schedules come out, I don't think there's any consideration whether or not the national championship game is taking place. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I mean, we want to see it. I know Brian's going to be tired of watching his team. He's got the hat on, and it'll be a hell of a story, to go 16-0 or 15-0, whatever it is. But no, that has no consideration in terms of that. The holiday, though, does, but the national championship game, no, not even a slither of a thought.
All right, now you can ask the question you was going to ask Charles. I just had to throw that in, Brian. I'm sorry.
Charles, I'm on my soapbox about advocating for all games to be on SWAC TV. Can you give us any insight with the Alcorn State's games? You guys have done great work, great video coverage on YouTube. Why aren't your games on SWAC TV?
We are working on that right now. I was told recently one of the parameters to have the games on SWAC TV is you got to have 3 cameras. You got to have 3 broadcast cameras, and I know a school in this conference that does not, and that school doesn't have their home games on SWAC TV. I was told that recently, but we have that. I can't answer that, to be honest with you, but we are working to try to get the rest of our home games on for the next homestand. There's some things the conference wants, and it's easy to pick up the broadcast. We are on YouTube, and they can just pick up that link. But I think the conference is trying to do some other types of things and just trying to tie it all together. But we are working on that. That's a good question. I've been asked that, and the only answer is that I've been given is that we are working on that as best as we can going forward.
Appreciate that, Charles, because I know, like I said, I've been, people have hit me asking me, and I'm like, well, I don't know, but I know someone who might know. So I said, well, next time I get a chance, I would I would ask. And yes, there are probably requirements and things of that nature, but at least, like I said, I am glad that we're able to watch it. Like the same way with FAMU's UAPB game, which wasn't on SWAC TV. Unfortunately, a lot of Rattlers didn't know that, but thanks to my girl Liv, she told me it was on YouTube, so I basically had to inform Rattler Nation, hey, we can go watch this game on YouTube. Which, hey, look, they had a good broadcast. I mean, they had good camera angles. They had a great student crowd, engaged, very engaged, good audio, good broadcasters. I'm like, hey, I mean, it looked good to me, except it wasn't, on SWAC TV. It was on YouTube. But
and look, and this is, it's not new, but the investment to make this happen for all schools is just not.
You don't have to tell me. I know.
If you want quality cameras, quality camera angles, especially the equipment, it is not cheap. When you look at these NFL games from the middle of the field, when they're following these players, those cameras are tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you're paying for the zoom. That's what you're paying for. So for cameras, AD knows this. I know it because I work with our video people. It's not a cheap endeavor. And I think the SWAC wants to see that our schools are invested in that type of stuff, because it's not just football. It's not just basketball. They're even talking about baseball and softball. A one-stop source for SWAC TV for all the sports. And so the investment that has to be made in, like, baseball's coming up, you got to have a platform behind center field. If and I know some of us do stuff from the press box and all of that, and I get it, but I think they want the full gamut of it. They want the play-by-play. They want the different camera angles, and that's not a cheap investment at all. So I get it, and I hope our schools are continuing to improve on that, because the commissioner talked about it in terms of how many views SWAC TV's getting. I think he was talking to Mo Carter and Coach Petway about that, like how many views. So it's up and coming. It's a good thing, and we just got to continue to cultivate it and develop it.
I'll just say this, just to put it out there, Charles, so people understand what we're talking about with investment. A cheap, let me not say cheap. That's not a word. A inexpensive, used, quality video camera, it's gonna start you at $3,000 and above for a 4K camera.
Yeah.
Realistically, you're spending anywhere between 5 and 10. Somebody actually was asking the question. I was answering the question. You're spending anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000 for a decent camera in order to do what we're doing from a streaming level.
One camera.
Wait a minute, Charles. I have bought tripod. I have bought cables.
Yeah.
I have bought switches.
Yeah.
You got to have a computer to run all this stuff through. You're talking minimum for a minimum investment to get going with a network. You're talking $40,000 to $50,000, and that's a low budget thing. You gotta buy audio mixers. You gotta buy headsets. And we're not even talking about, Charles, and we're not even talking about having a talk back for you, multiple monitors, and there's so much we could do. And sidebar, that's why, I was gloating a little bit, and it was organic, but when I saw my numbers that I did with at Morehouse with this, and they allotted me the budget to do this, that's why I was proud of that, because that was all organic, bro.
Yeah.
But I know what type of investment. And then, last but not least, Charles, you can get all that equipment. Just like I found equipment in closets and stuff. Somebody got to know how to run that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody got to.
I'll take it another level. Before we had this, we had replay. replay was on paper years
replay.
ago, and not everybody in the conference had replay at the same time. Replay was mandated, but not every school had the equipment to have replay. And that was an investment. I mean, everybody has it now, but not everybody had it at the same time. Some schools were a little bit ahead of the curve more so than others. That's an investment in itself to have a replay system up in the press box for football, for basketball. I mean, that's
been upgraded.
Yeah. Yeah. And like G Boone said, now you can outsource. That's an option. And so therefore the university is not responsible for any of it. That's another option. But how many schools
got to make sure you pay those vendors, schools. Got to make sure you pay your vendors.
That's a whole nother conversation, Brian.
Look, I was trying not to go too deep into it. But yes, EA said, yes, we are debating. Yes, 40 to 50. That's
a low end. I'm telling you, when I say that, that's a low end to get you started for year one. You're still going to have to cover and buy stuff year 2 and year 3. And by the time you get to year 3, all that stuff you bought in year 1, half that stuff going to be obsolete. And you're going to need to, I'm talking about 4K cameras, everybody, just to put it out there. People are working with 8K cameras now, just so y'all know.
4K is old.
4K is old.
And I would say, I think what EA is insinuating too is that you got schools in this conference with $7, $8, $9, $10, $11, $12 million athletic budgets. Like, what is $40,000 or $50,000?
That's a lot. When that budget goes for scholarships and food and travel and coaches' salaries and everything like that, no, it's actually a capital campaign. Y'all want to talk about it? Let me see y'all make some donations to the streaming network. Oh, by the way, you got a small business out there? You got a large business out there? You got some marketing dollars out there? I'm gonna give you another one. Buy some advertising on it. Just like Coke, just like Pepsi, McDonald's, and everybody else. Why don't you buy something for all you lawyers out there, all you insurance salesmen who have your own branches? Why don't y'all invest in y'all alma maters or the school down the street if you're not in the same town? I'm sorry, y'all done got me started now. Let me go calm down.
Well, Brian, I will say what we do, what Alcorn does. We work with our CITS, Computer Information Technology Services office, as well as our communication office, our mass comm office. They handle the video part of it. So we have someone that's over that. They work with students. We have the cameras. They have the cameras. So it's a good partnership for us between Alcorn Athletics, CITS, and the mass comm to invest in that type of equipment, knowing that it's needed. But the initial shock with replay and all that took a little time to unwind. But we do have it. We do have it for basketball. We have it for football. So it's not a cheap investment. But we are working with other units on campus to kind of help make that happen. I don't know the other schools what they do. I'm sure it may be similar, maybe outsource like Boom talked about. There's different ways to do it, but nonetheless, even for the ones that are outsourced, it's not a cheap venture at all. If you want to do it professionally, you want to do it right, you want to have credibility behind it, it's not a cheap endeavor. I can say that.
I wonder, last thought I have on this, and I wonder how many SWAC schools were prepared for SWAC TV and what is or was going to be asked of them. And if we're talking about this money and what it takes to have not just the people, but the investment, right? Because those are real conversations that have to be planned and budgeted for. Now, going into this year, people's budgets didn't include, probably, I'm trying to think about timelines here, probably didn't include the funds for what it was fully going to take in all sports, basketball, outdoor, because it's totally different. You may have been set up indoor with, Wi-Fi, hi-fi signals, and outdoors. I see Doc chiming in saying they were told 2 years ago. They were told, yes, but when you have changeover in administrations in that 2-year process, things kind of happen to get lost in the sauce.
Yeah. Well,
I ain't speaking about every school. I just know a few schools where that may have occurred.
Yeah. Well, I think the basic fundamentals, a number of our schools had it as far as we have the Brave Sports Network. So
Yes.
that's something that the SWAC could do, piggyback off the Brave Sports Network. For football, SWAC TV was sending crews to these games. Before SWAC TV, they were picking up the radio feed and using our cameras that we had in-house.
I remember.
So
yes.
so the fundamentals of it, a lot of our schools had already. But now, as for the schools that didn't exactly have it, that didn't exactly have a radio crew, some schools don't have radio broadcast at home or on the road. I mean, so now all of a sudden you have to have that conversation. So I think a number of our schools have the fundamentals, and it's just adding to that. Some still have some work to do, and I know those, and I try to work with them as best as they can if they ask. And I have suggestions if they ask, and how they do it. Again, it's not a cheap venture. It is not a cheap venture at all. And I know money is money, but it's willing and able. I think a lot of our schools are able to do it, but are you willing to do it? And I think, a coach getting bought out, the school has the money to buy you out. Are they willing to buy you out? Well, they're able. You got to have the money in the bank. You sign Quinn Gradle a 4-year contract. FAMU's got money in the bank to pay them out if they got to. Question is, are they willing to do it? They're able to. Are they willing? So that's the question with this. All of our schools are able to do this. The question is, are they willing to do this?
Yes.
I think that's the conversation
from the people outside of the athletic department, because that's the people who really holding on to the money.
I get that. So it's I think it's slowly coming. I think once you get beyond football and basketball and if SWAC TV is going to be encompassing of all sports, then that's going to be a whole nother set of investments. We talked about baseball, we talked about basketball, volleyball, track. I mean, the whole thing. I mean, so you want to be able to see any kind of track meet, any softball game, go to SWAC TV to see that. If every school has that type of investment, you'll be able to do that. Coaching shows, things like that. That's a whole nother thing. I mean, most schools have the video coaching shows. And so do is just give that to the SWAC, and they can put that content out there. SWAC TV is about content, games, shows, stuff like that. I mean, so I think that's what the commissioner's talking about. And, the millions of hits and views that it's received, that's great. And I'm sure he wants that to continue. But, all of our schools have to do their part to help get that to the SWAC so they can put it on that platform. I think some schools are doing it and some still a work in progress, and that's fine because SWAC TV is just rolled out. So you're still working through that. You're not in a hurry. You would like to see more, but I think more will come as schools get on board with some of this stuff.
Man, fascinating conversation. I'm telling you, man, it really does take somebody savvy enough from a broadcast background that can be able to get on the phone and work with all 12, because the degrees to what schools have and don't have, it almost does require you to kind of do that on-site visit and go to every stadium, every arena or gym, as in where you're about to go to. I ain't gonna call that place an arena, it's a gym.
One of the toughest places to play, Brian Fulford.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Hold on. I was gonna don't get me started, Charles. I'm gonna mess with you. I'm gonna be like, Charles, where are you gonna sit for your game? Because there's a DJ that sits right there by the visiting table.
Yeah.
So I don't know where where did you sit last year?
Right next to the DJ.
Oh, so you forced the DJ to move? Is that what you said? Move over, DJ.
I didn't force the DJ to move. I mean, I was sitting right next to the DJ.
He made space for you.
Yeah, and look, I'm gonna say this about basketball. Okay, so we're blessed and fortunate for those who can call games to be right there on the court, the Wood Gym, and all these other facilities. In the SEC, man, with this NIL, and you're paying these $20 million rosters.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Those courtside seats are gone.
Uh-huh.
And I'm friends with people who do games for Ole Miss and Mississippi State. They're on this text chain, and they showed me recently where they put visiting radio. 30 rows up at Alabama. 30 rows up at the Coleman Coliseum. I'm 30 rows up where last year I was on the floor. And I'm like, what's going on? I thought they were mad with me. They said, nope, that seating is for courtside seating, trying to make some money to pay these.
Seat brings in $3,000. That's $3,000 seat that you sitting in right there.
Right. So I mean, so this is just kind of, and look, a lot of our schools now have more courtside seating. I was at Alabama State a couple of weeks ago. Dr. Cable's got more courtside seating. We got courtside seating. I think Jackson's definitely got it. So this is something new and something different. We talk about money. This is a way of bringing in revenue, courtside seating. But
that's right.
Look,
that's right. Yeah.
The Wood Gym's a tough place to play. We have struggled there, the Lady Braves especially, and it's cold in there too. And I've been told that the floor sweats, so they have to keep it cool. I get it. No problem. But this is just a tough place. It's a great advantage when that place is packed. I like to see a FAMU Bethune game there. I think they played early in the year. Jam packed.
I don't want to see no more FAMU Bethune games in there. I'm tired. I'm tired of losing there. You just got to watch out for the coach / AD who's working the officials by halftime. That's all you got to watch out for.
Oh, wow. Yeah. But yeah, look, I mean, I think from the broadcast standpoint, SWAC TV, there's still work to be done. There's no doubt about that. So we got some work to do.
All right, Charles, you've been gracious with your time this evening, man. I know you want to get tied in the second half of the game starting. Your Rams tied up at 10 with the Chicago Bears. I'm hoping for the Rams to get to the Super Bowl, Charles. I'm hoping. So you're the best. I think you're the best. You guys have the best quarterback left. So hopefully that means something this year.
Yep. I mean, it's 5 below wind chill. I was more worried about the Carolina game last week because the Rams played down to the competition. I was worried to death about Carolina. They shouldn't have got in to begin with, but that's the type of team the Rams will lose to. They know they got to bring it in.
They tried. They sure tried.
Terrible. All right, Brian, I appreciate it.
All right, Charles, man, always appreciate you. Be well, all right?
I appreciate it.
All right. Charles Edmond, ladies and gentlemen, Alcorn State Sports. Fascinating, great conversation with Charles, as always. Let's take a break, come back, and wrap up the show with the BCSN Top 5 rankings, men and women's basketball. I think we debuted the Division II last week. I think we also have the debut of the NAIA division and the Division I division. So we got 3 rankings. That's 6 different rankings. Let me just confirm that. All right. So hopefully we'll have that back. AD dealing with a few technical issues. And when he comes back, I'll hit a few news and notes, and hopefully we'll be good to go. So appreciate you guys. Hit the thumbs up and the like button if you would for me while you're watching the show. When we come back, we'll do our top 5 rankings. And yeah, we'll go from there. So the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. Make sure you're following us on social media. And always, if you want to donate, you can send something via the Cash App right there, $MyJBN, MyBCSN. And we'll be back in just a moment.
This is Ryan Fulford. A.D. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN SportsWrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN SportsWrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
Into these colleges, and we have to fund our kids in these colleges, and we have to make sure our kids have seats in these colleges.
Now, what about HBCUs? You mentioned
absolutely. You got to fund them all, and you've got to make sure they're properly funded. You know, the real reason why I went after Comcast and Charter, it didn't have anything to do with my cable networks. It didn't. What happened was a gentleman wanted to do the Black College Sports Network in partnership with the HBCUs. And Comcast did not accept it. And that would have made a lot of money for these black colleges.
Absolutely.
And it would have educated the Black College Sports Network. This is what he wanted to do. That would have educated a lot of black kids. And when they didn't do that, that's when I came off the bench and said, okay, I'm going to light you up like a Christmas tree. Okay. That was the real reason why I got into it, was when I saw what happened with the Black College Sports Network, which I don't own. I just knew.
Why didn't you buy it?
I just knew. I just knew that these black.
I like that talk.
All right. I knew that these black colleges were going to benefit, and these black kids were going to get the education that they deserved and not have to pay.
There's a shot. To right. It could be. Right field. Grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you, guys, for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. All you guys at BCSN, we really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
Welcome back to the BCSN Sports Wrap. A.D. Drew, Brian Fulford here. Good to be back on you. As always, great conversation again. Charles Edmond, Alcorn State Sports Radio, the voice of the Braves. Make sure to check out his show that we call Brave Talk on the BCSN Pod Zone. You heard Charles talk about those coaches shows. Well, he does coaches shows with both head coaches of the Alcorn State men and women's basketball program, Nate Kilbert of the women's program, Jake Morton of the men's program. He airs those, he broadcasts them live on Tuesday nights, I believe, on, you can find his 91.7 Alcorn State Sports on Facebook is where you can find that live show. But if you miss it, you can catch it on the BCSN Pod Zone. So please make sure to support either live or the BCSN Pod Zone. Download subscribe, rate, review on all of your favorite podcast platforms, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, and more. Okay. Drew tells me that we have the top 5 ready. Drew, can we do just very quickly 5 good minutes? And I don't know if we're going to do a timer for this. Instant react to some very just different headline news stories that we've seen. You know, we talk about this is sports wrap. We haven't really talked about much. There's a few stories out there. I mean, I'm just glancing through HBCUGameDay.com, HBCUSports.com. There's so many interesting headlines that I just want to throw them out there and then get quick thoughts and reactions. So 5 minutes, set your timers. Hold on, you're on mute or I can't hear you. One of the two. As Drew gets his mic. Yeah, he's working on it. He's working on his.
Can you hear me now?
I got you. There you go. There you go. All right.
Sports wrap reaction.
All right. Sports wrap reaction. First story I came across. Wally Pitt, HBCU Game Day post. What Trump's Army Navy order means for HBCU football. Of course, as some people have called him, Agent Orange, or President of the United States, President Trump. He wants to issue an executive order making it so that the only game that is played on broadcast television is the day, I guess it would be the whatever weekend the Army-Navy game.
Celebration Bowl Saturday.
I was going to get there. Yeah. So he wants to make that game the only game that's played that day. Well, problem is, because of the formatting change, which occurred a couple years ago, the Army-Navy game, which kicks off usually 3 o'clock Eastern on CBS, happens to be the same day as the Cricket Celebration Bowl, which airs on ABC at noon in Atlanta. Big deal or no deal? Big deal or no big deal, Drew?
Could be, because certain people give this man what he wants when he wants. Hell, the Nobel Peace Prize winner gave him her Nobel Peace Prize just to try to get on his good side. So
nothing. And you still was like, oh man, that's some crazy stuff.
But yeah, but the man about to start 2 wars, but somebody gave up their Nobel Peace Prize to him. Anyway, nothing that he does surprises me. But good one, Doc. But the problem with that is, with everything that's going on around college football, the potential expansion of college football.
Yes.
You know, that's going to be. I can't see it. And let me say it. There's nothing. Army Navy deserves the shine that they get.
They do. NFL games too. Thank you, Doc. Exactly. Yeah, sure.
So do our, but so do our HBCUs. So does the FCS playoffs.
Yes. Well said. Well said. All right. Second bit of breaking news that came this past week that I'm coming across. These are me finding quick headlines that I saw. The Black College Football Hall of Fame announced their class of 2026 that will be inducted sometime in June or July. Is it June or July? I'm looking for the date here. I can't find it. They're going to be inducted in Atlanta, the Black College Football Hall of Fame. I think it's in the summer.
This summer. Just say this summer and move on.
Say again?
Just say this summer and move on.
Okay, thank you. Here's the class. We have former Jackson State wide receiver Jimmy Smith, of course, also played for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Current former player, current coach, former NFL player Eddie Robinson Jr. Making it into the Black College Football Hall of Fame. Former defensive back at Bethune-Cookman, Nick Collins, makes it in. Former defensive back, former NFL player from Fort Valley State, Tyrone Poole, makes it in. And you also have former head coach, national championship head coach / NCAA College Football Hall of Famer, Florida A&M's Rudy Hubbard being inducted, as well as I think this is as a contributor from Howard University or media member, Steve Weish, who has been a very big advocate of HBCU since he has had his position and role within the NFL and on the NFL Network. So congratulations, Coach Hubbard, Tyrone Poole, Coach Robinson, Nick Collins, Jimmy Smith, Steve Weish. Has anybody ever asked you, Drew, why is it taking so long for these guys to get in? Anybody ever asked you that?
I can tell you why.
Please, you tell.
The Black College Hall of Fame is young compared to all these other Hall of Fames. So anybody who we add, you get it. It's not about how long has it taken them to get in from their career. Are we getting these people in reasonably close to the order that they deserve to be in? When this Hall of Fame gets to be 30 and 40 years old, like a lot of these other Halls of Fame, that's where you can start complaining about so-and-so should be in, so-and-so should be in. They still playing catch up, Brian, because they're as good as those players are, there are still plenty of excellent players who have contributed to this game who have not made it in yet.
Yeah, I think this is only the 17th or 18th class. They started in 2009 with the first class. So, yeah, they're not even at 20 years old. So, just is what it is. Okay. Did you know that the MEAC has one school in the MEAC has 2 unbeaten teams that are doing something that they haven't done in practically, in this century, in this millennium. And I'm talking about the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, UMES. The men are currently sitting at 4-0 under head coach Cleo Hill Jr. Of course, he is formerly at Winston-Salem State. The Hawks, just in case you didn't know their nickname, the Hawks are off to their best start since the 1973-74 season, after they defeated Coppin State 70-67. First time that they've been 4-0 since they have been an exclusive Division I program in 1981. And then on the women's side, the women, they are also 4-0, first time since 98-99. And they are under the direction of head coach, let me get his name, Malika Willis. So under Coach Willis, UMES, the first time they've been unbeaten. Big deal or no big deal, Drew? Will we see UMES, one of these two teams, be a 1 seed come tournament time in the MEAC? A lot of basketball left to play.
That was 2 questions in one. Big deal, no deal. Anytime you got 2 teams 4-0 on the same campus, big deal. So we'll start off with that. Will we see both teams as a number 1 seed? If my choices are both, either or neither, I'm going with neither.
Okay.
As a number 1.
Winston-Salem State Lady Rams improved to 15-1 with their 15th straight win. Big deal or no deal, the Lady Rams, hot. They're gonna be trouble come March.
Since Stephen Gaither is in the chats, and he cut into me like a piece of cheese.
That butter.
I am going to put my butter on butter.
Hot knife through butter.
I'm going to put my stuff on them and said that yes, it is a big deal. And yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, you already passed last year's win total, Steve. But anytime you're off to that kind of a start, especially when you've had a program that has not been at the top, you know, this is definitely a big deal. This is not Fayetteville State's women. This is not Miles women, where we expect these things year in and year out of these programs. So yeah, big deal.
They are already on the verge of equaling the win total from the last 2 years combined. How does that happen, though? Come on, Steve. You got to give me I want to interview next week, Steve, on our show. I want the behind-the-scenes story. How does this happen? This isn't normal. This isn't normal stuff that just happens, Steve. You got to help me understand how Winston. I mean, come on. One coach, one player. Come on now, help me understand, Steve. I want to get on the. Is there room on the bus, Steve? Is there room on the Winston-Salem Rams bus? I want to enjoy this. Not too many times. I can be a gravy trainer with the best of them, but I mean, when there's history being made, I want to get on early. So if this is something that's
Bryan, I'm supposed to call you out. You get on the Winston-Salem bus, but you wouldn't get on that Delaware State Hornet bus. Let's move on to the next topic.
Beginning in the fall, a new CIAA champion is going to be crowned, as they made the announcement on Friday afternoon that they received the NCAA approval to add women's flag football as a varsity sport beginning with the 26-27 academic athletic year. The CIAA becomes the first HBCU conference to fully sanction women's flag football as a varsity sport. I'm surprised they beat y'all conference, Drew. I thought y'all were like ahead of the curve on that.
No, we're not. CIAA was definitely ahead of the curve. But I know on the NAIA level, flag football is a spring sport. And if they want any attention to come to these young ladies, it definitely does not need to be at the same time that tackle football is going on.
Right. Apparently, it's a club sport now. Last spring was the first year of it being a club sport. Winston-Salem State won the inaugural championship. This year, the club championship will take place in April. And then I guess the championship rounds are going to be played in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then they will move into being an official sport next year. So congratulations there.
Only state where it's probably bigger than Georgia is in Florida, honestly. Blue Jacket is right on that.
Probably. Yeah, probably. Let's see. I'm bumping here. Big deal or no deal. Florida A&M men's basketball 3-1, tied for first place under Charlie Ward for the first time since 2006, 2007, Drew, in which they were in another conference back then. First time they're 3-1, sitting in first place. Big deal or no deal?
Big deal, especially considering the fact that one of those victories was against the man who he replaced.
Big deal.
And bigger deal that the other team that they are tied with in first place is the other team from the state of Florida, who their only loss is to.
Yeah, very good point. A couple of HBCUs made some hires this week. Clark Atlanta, across the street from you, hired ex-SWAC coach Terry Sims to lead its program, as it was announced. I don't know if we announced this on Friday or not, but this happened
Friday. It was Friday afternoon.
It did. It happened Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Again, bringing up the point, why do you announce big news like that on a Friday afternoon heading into the holiday weekend, Drew?
And I don't believe I'm doing this, but I am actually going to defend this just a little bit.
Okay.
You had football coaches convention last week.
Okay.
B, you had all the athletics directors convention last week. and C, this is the holiday weekend. So if you didn't announce it Friday, you have to wait until Tuesday to do it. And Coach Sims probably felt like he needed to get out and start recruiting. I did bump into Coach Sims at the game yesterday, and congratulated him. Say because obviously I've known Coach Sims for some years, and I was like, hey, man, you got to stop following me around because you used to kill me when you was at Bethune. Now you just go across the street. Now we just have to battle again, man.
Yeah. Of course, many folks will remember him from his time where he coached at Bethune-Cookman for 7 seasons from 2015 to 2021. He had a 38-39 record. MEAC Coach of the Year in 2015. They were co-champions that year, along with Central and A&T. We're just gonna skip over the part where he defeated FAMU 4 consecutive years in the Florida Classic. Because I think them last 2 years might have cost him when he did lose those games. He was let go kind of right around the COVID years, or right after COVID. Right.
Yeah, he coached 1 year after COVID.
Yeah. He's been, I think the last few seasons, he's been part of the Alabama State staff with Eddie Robinson Jr.
He has.
Yeah. So I always see him at the SWAC media days the last couple of years. And he's been a face there. Also, another coaching hire. This one happened on Wednesday. It was officially announced. Howard University has their man, or they always said it, but now it's official. Dr. Wayne A.I. Frederick, interim president and president emeritus of Howard University, and Kerry Davis, the vice president and director of athletics, introduced Ted White as the university's new head football coach. Of course, Ted White, former quarterback, one of the most decorated players at Howard University and in MEAC history, has spent the last 2 decades coaching in collegiate and professional ranks. Of course, many of us grew up, remember remember Ted White when we were on the yard, because from 95 to 98, he was slinging that rock the football with Howard University. And they had one of the most explosive offenses during that time of the year. He is a MEAC Hall of Famer, set conference records for passing, 9,808 yards, 92 touchdowns. It was a first-team Division I AA All-American twice. MEAC Player of the Year and Black College Football Player of the Year in 96. He went on to have a professional career in the NFL, NFL Europe, and Canadian Football League. He's been coaching at Texas Southern, Southern University, UAPB, Prairie View A&M, and Howard University. I think he was even coaching in the UFL.
So, Brian, better quarterback during their tenure at Howard, Jay Walker or Ted White? We don't have to answer that. I need my Howard people to answer that.
Yeah, it's a fascinating discussion. There's another guy who would be part of that conversation too, that I think is less hyped up than those two guys. But
that being,
can Ted White get Howard back to the Celebration Bowl with a winning record?
Stop it, Brian.
I'm sorry.
They had a winning record going in.
They did. You're right. They did have a winning record going in. You're right. All right. I'll stop. Congratulations to Howard. Yeah. All right. Any other news headlines that you wanted to mention? I could go on for days, but I think we gotta get to these top 5. Yeah.
Because You got to realize I had to get up 5 o'clock this morning so I get on the plane. So
I got you. All right, now do you want to rename these slides so I know which one is the NAIA, which one is the D2, which one is the Division I?
Should. They should be renamed. They should be named.
Let's see. Nope. It just says your name
on my screen.
They just say your name.
Oh, they in order.
Karen, we're not talking about that, Karen.
They're in order.
Continue.
They're in order.
From left to right?
Left to right.
All right. All right. So we're going to start with this D2, though, Drew.
Wrong head. I forgot to change head, but this is actually NAIA.
Okay. All right. So the NAIA
with paste.
Can you? Oh Lord have mercy. This is gonna throw people off. Is it like that all the way through?
Probably. Let's go to D2 while I fix that.
Okay. All right. Hold on. All right. So I'll take that off. That's D2. Okay. Hold on. Let me drop the comments down some. Okay, here we go. All right, this is the BCSN Top 5 rankings, week number 2 for the Division II level. Our second rankings, starting in the women's, in the hunt, just missing out of the top 5, Edward Waters, 73.89 points. Virginia State, 62.03, and Albany State, 60.57. Again, this is just outside of the top 5, so this would be 6, 7, and 8 if this were a top 10, but it's not. We only do top 5. Number 5, Lane College, 74.32. Number 4, Claflin, 79.28. You know what? I should have pulled up the standings on these, but anyway. Number 3, Fayetteville State, 85 points. Steve caught it. Number 2, Miles College, formerly number 1, 92.47. Well, if they're number 2, then that means the new number 1 team in the BCSN Top 5 rankings on the women's side is, what do you know? The Winston-Salem State University Rams. 96.70 points. A big week for the Rams. Looks like we got some top 5 matchups this week. The Rams will take on number 4 Claflin on Tuesday. And then Saturday, they will take on number 3 Fayetteville State. Wow. That's okay. So right off the bat, we got a pair of top 5 matchups here, Drew. I've got to make sure to pub these out a little bit. Number 1, Winston-Salem versus number 4 Claflin, and then number 1, and the Rams have to go on the road too. So nothing easy. Should be interesting contest to see how the Rams fare. And I guess we finally got approval. This is it's a Ram good poll. Let's see. That's well done. Well done. Kudos to you. All right, congratulations, Winston-Salem State, new number 1. So let's keep track of that. Week number 2 already got 2 new number 1s. Let's go over to the men's side at the Division II level. In the hunt, Morehouse men 62.49, Clark Atlanta 52.59. How would you describe the atmosphere of that Morehouse-Clark game on Saturday, Drew?
Oh, my God. That's all I can say is, oh, my God.
Final score?
Oh, come on now, man. You know who won that game, man. Go pull up the recap.
I just thought you'd want to gloat a little bit. I was opening the door so that you can stick your chest out a little bit about the score, Drew. Come on now.
I mean, we still got to play him twice. So I don't want to give him no bulletin board material because I know Coach Jordan watches this show.
All right. Final score: Morehouse a lot, Clark a little. 22-point victory for the Maroon Tigers. That's all I'm gonna say. So that means get your popcorn ready when they return that game to Morehouse. It's gonna be hot. I'm just gonna let you know. Coming in at number 5, Fayetteville State, 64.46 points of the CIAA. Also, the CIAA Claflin, 65.13. So already we got 2 schools from Fayetteville and Claflin, both in the top 5. And there's a third school that's in the top 5. That's Miles, 69.83 of the SIAC. Number 2, Tuskegee, 73.12 points. And that means repeating as number 1, Virginia Union, the Panthers of the CIAA, 85.58 points. Good stuff. Virginia Union putting a beatdown over their in-state rivals on Saturday, 65-37. Yikes. What a beating. All right. We got any other the other rankings ready?
30 seconds for NAIA.
All right.
Just gotta hit the download button.
I will say, let me see. I'll go to a quick headline story. I did notice that where did I see this at? Whose site did I see this on? I seen it. So it had to do with Mike Vick in a documentary. His documentary that he is doing, which is part of a docuseries. I'm reading right here. Chris Stevens on HBCUSports.com. The Mike Vick docuseries is set to premiere on February 4th on BET. BET Networks releasing the docuseries The Coach Vick Experience, which will debut Wednesday, February 4th at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see why Norfolk State was 1-11. That'll be interesting. So, just nothing speaks to drama other than that. So, yes, Norfolk State's record was 1-11. So, all right. Looks like Drew's got one ready for me. Is that one that new one you loaded up?
That new one is loaded up.
All right, let's see what we got. This is the NAIA first rankings of the year. The BCSN top 5 rankings at the NAIA level. Let's start with the women. Coming just outside of the top 5, Stillman College, 59.79 points. Coming in at number 5 to open the year, Talladega College, 68.41 points. Number 4 is Xavier University. They moved conferences. Which conference is Xavier in again? Red River, thank you. Formerly of the Southern States, formerly of the GCAC.
And they'll be going to the Southern States next year.
Huh? Did I say it wrong?
Yeah, they haven't moved to the Southern States yet.
Oh, okay. So next year's when they move to the Southern States. Okay.
Yeah.
When they left the GCAC, they went to the Red River.
Correct.
Thank you. All right, coming in at number 4, Coach Bo Browder and Xavier. Number 3, Philander Smith of the HBCU AC, 77.52 points, coming in number 3 in our first poll of the year. Number 2, wow, here's a school we don't often see or talk about, Arkansas Baptist. Let me see if I remember what conference they're in.
They're
part of the independent. Thank you. Okay, see, you had me there. And number 1, by less than a point. The Langston Lady Lions of the Sooner Athletic Conference. Interesting. What is Arkansas Baptist record? Well, has the new NAIA rankings come out, Drew?
They came out last Wednesday.
Yeah. Do you recall where Langston was? Where is Arkansas Baptist considering?
I can look it up. Arkansas Baptist probably is not getting any type of respect.
What is their record, by the way? Because most people aren't familiar, including me.
They are 13-3. Excuse me, 11-3. 11-3.
11-3.
Yes.
Emmett said, "What's going on with the HBCU conference in basketball?" Well, great question, Emmett. Why you ask? I can tell you here while we're in the women's side of things. Let me see if I can pull up the standings here.
The polls as of January 14th, Brian.
Yeah.
HBCUs, NAIA.
Wait a minute. Say that again.
NAIA or none. Langston dropped from the top 25. Langston fell from they would be actually number 27 as of right now. And they are the lone women's team in receiving votes.
Okay. Just to give you, since Emmett asked what's going on with the HBCU AC, that's the HBCU AC. They have two divisions, an East and a West division. Over on the Eastern Division side, Oakwood in Alabama, they are unbeaten right now in conference play. 7 games played, 7-0. They have an overall record of 11-5, which the second best overall record of the teams in the East belongs to Talladega, who you see there ranked number 5. Talladaga's 10-3, but they are 4-3 in conference play among their 7 games played. So most teams have either played, guess what? 6 or 7 games. Can't make this stuff up. Over on the western side, first place, Paul Quinn. They played 8 games. They're 7-1 right now. They have a 12-4 overall record, so technically have the best overall record of any team in the HBCU AC. But you see, interesting how our metrics bring in Philander Smith at number 3. Their conference record is 4-3, and they're 9-7 overall. So always taking into factor strength of schedule, opponents, competition. All those things do factor in to our computer rankings. But as we always like to say, they always work themselves out. So
they balance out.
They balance out as the season goes. Let's move over to the men. Over in the men's side of things, the men's NAIA rankings, top 5, beginning of the year. Stillman and Tougaloo sit outside of the top 5, number 6 and 7. Damn, I just did it again. Number 5, I don't know who that school is. That would be, I think it's Xavier, even though disregard the logo. That is logo Xavier University. Yes. Logo, incorrect logo. That's all right. We'll blame the interns. Xavier comes in at number 5. Number 4 is Talladega College.
Got that one right.
Yeah, got that one right. Good job, interns. Number 3, Arkansas Baptist by less than a point. Better than Talladega. Always interesting. Number 2, Philander Smith. Tight race there between 4, 5, 2. Let's see what won. clear separation from the Langston Lions. So Langston sits at number 1 on the BCSN first week top 5 rankings.
And they also sit number 7 in the nation.
Wow,
dropped
number
2
7.
spots.
Okay, I was going to say, because I thought they were 5 previously, but they dropped 2 spots.
Yeah, with a 13-3 overall record.
Okay, here are your standings right now in the HBCU AC. Over on the eastern side of things, it's Talladega sitting in first place with a record of 6-1 in conference play, 9-7 overall. Stillman is a half a game behind them at 5-1, 8-8 overall. So Stillman, having played 1 less game, half a game behind Talladega in the win column. Over on the western side of things, another similar situation. Tougaloo in first place, 7-1 overall, or 7-1 in conference, 10-6 overall. But Philander Smith is a half a game behind them in the win column, 6-1, while they are 13-3 overall. So you see why Philander Smith is kind of ranked number 2 in our rankings. And also of note in the western side, SUNO, Southern University at New Orleans, they are 6-2 in conference play, 1 full game behind Tougaloo in first. So 6-2 in conference play, but 8-11 overall. So that's your HBCU AC contest coming up here. Look out for a game. Oakwood at Stillman on the men's side should be coming up on Tuesday, the 20th. Oh, well, I thought it'd be easy. I had to scroll. Okay, anyway. Looks like they got a full slate of games scheduled coming up on Thursday and then Saturday. So Thursdays and Saturdays looks like the main 2 days to catch HBCU AC games, and I'm sure those games are being broadcast and streamed. I believe they're still streaming those games on the UEN network.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay.
Emmett asked a good question. Since Oakwood University is a Seventh-day Adventist university, do they play games on Saturday? During the regular season, they tend not to play on Saturdays. If they do play on Saturdays, I believe, according to their religion, they can't play from sundown Friday to sundown Saturday, if I remember correctly. So they do make accommodations. I know when the tournament happens every year, they have to have a accommodation in the tournament based upon how Oakwood advances in the HBCU AC tournament.
Right. You said that game has to be after later in the evening, right?
Yeah, they could play on Saturday evening. But
yeah, because they did play this past Saturday. They played this past Saturday at home against Voorhees, 80-72.
So I guarantee you that was like a 6 or 7 o'clock start.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. The box score doesn't say, or at least I can't. 8 p.m. start.
See?
There you go. 8 p.m. start. So there you go. Good catch there. Good catch, Emmett. Okay, let's go to that. So that was the debut of the NAIA. Let's go to the debut of the Division I men's. You ready for that one, Drew?
I'm ready. Yeah, I was making sure until you didn't pull the wrong one up. I got rid of the old one.
All right, the Division I
women
top 5 rankings. BCSN Division I women's top 5. This is week number 1. In the hunt, Alcorn State and Texas Southern. That would be the 2 schools right outside of the top 5. Let's get into the top 5 for week number 1. Alabama A&M, wrong logo. Got to tell the intern. Got to get the logo squared away. Alabama A&M coming in at number 5 out of the SWAC. Another wrong. The intern was just on one. The intern was just on one today, boy. Howard University comes in at number 4. That's interesting. Howard, many people's top women's team. We're gonna catch some. That's gonna catch some eyebrows raised. Number 3, Southern University. Okay, I see what the intern did. Southern University comes in at number 3. Yeah, we got to tell the intern, look, if we want to be able to use these on social media, intern, you got to get these logos squared away. Southern University comes in at number 3. 4, Maryland Eastern Shore comes in. So the hot start for it. Look how tightly contested it is, all within 1 point. That's amazing. From 5 to 2. Let me see what 1 is. Any guesses for 1? Oh, that's a hell of a jump. Norfolk State, really? 88.98. I'm shocked. Are you looking at this season or last season rankings? What is our computer doing these days? I don't know what to make of that. I can't trust our computer. The interns got the logos wrong. The computer got Norfolk State 11 points better than Maryland Eastern Shore. Goodness gracious. Let's go over to the men's side before somebody clicks this and wants to call us out. It's our computers, folks. These are computer rankings, not a poll based on the computers. We just put the numbers in the system and the computer cranks it out. And that's what it did there. On the men's side, just outside of the top 5, North Carolina Central, Southern, and Arkansas Pine Bluff, just outside of the top 5. Number 5, the intern might be on the street getting some logos right. Jackson State comes in at number 5.
Can't mess that one up, Brian. You'll never hear the end of that.
Oh, we'll never hear the end of it. Yeah, Florida A&M. Wow, I never thought I'd see Florida A&M ranked by the computers of the BCSN top 5 in basketball. Wow. Number 3, Maryland Eastern Shore coming in at number 3. Number 2, Bethune-Cookman. Wow, look at the margin between Bethune-Cookman and Maryland Eastern Shore. 0.02. Wow. That's wow. And the number 1 team to open up the season in the BCSN top 5, Tennessee State out of the OVC. The Tennessee State Tigers coming in at number 1. Okay. Well, tickled me surprised, and I can't wait to post some of those on socials. We'll get the intern to correct the logos, but that'll be fascinating to throw that out there and see what kind of reaction they get. Yeah. All right. Well, appreciate the intern for his or her work. Appreciate the computer for dropping that info in as well. Good stuff. All right, Drew. Well, we got to get ready to get out of here. It's been a good long show. And any other final thoughts and comments that you want to close the show out with tonight?
Yeah, make sure you guys tune in if you're not watching your institution. Morehouse Howard, ESPN Plus, 4:00 Eastern tomorrow in the MLK Basketball Classic.
Yeah, plenty of good stuff. Make sure you stay locked in with all of the shows here on the Black College Sports Network. And go download the BCSN Pod Zone everywhere that you listen and download podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, wherever you partake, subscribe. Make sure you are subscribed. Turn your notification on, hit the bell, all that good stuff. And so that way, when you get notifications, you'll know. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody in the chat. Got to thank Charles Edmond for joining us earlier in the show. And, hey, you guys have a great day. If you're off work on Monday, enjoy your off day. Celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day in some positive way. And, yeah, final score predictions, Drew, for tomorrow's national championship game. Indiana, Miami. Let's go. Final score predictions quickly. Anybody left in the chat? Final score predictions. What are your thoughts there, Drew?
I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I won't give you a final score, but 82 is my over under.
Whoa.
81.5.
Wow. That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points.
Oh man, two very good defenses giving up a lot of points. That'll be interesting. I am going to. I'm thinking of the margin here. 31-27, Indiana. Final score, 31-27. Yep. So, all right. So that's going to do it for tonight. Thanks for watching the show, everybody. Have a great week. Have a great MLK Day. And we'll see you next Sunday right here on the Black College Sports Network for the BCSN Sports Wrap. For A.D. Drew, I'm Brian Fulford. Peace out, everybody. Be blessed.